we're due to talk about Spurs now. O'Hara was meant to be here, Jason Cundy, but apparently he's bottled his chance to plug your show. What? If you're not watching but listening, you've put on a Jamie O'Hara mask. Is that a new thing? I mean, that's quite horrific.
I don't know what it looks like. How does it look?
What do you think it looks like?
No, I can't see myself. Does it look like O'Hara?
Have a look at the monitor.
By the time I do that, I turn away.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it looks ghastly, and I never use that word. Yeah. Have you put it on before?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I've worn it before.
It's
so
vile.
Weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. So do you want to pretend he's here?
I can pretend he's here.
Okay, let's
Shambles! Shambles!
Good team.
Why is he not here? I heard he stormed out the studio again yesterday.
Last night, obviously.
Soon it's going to be more of a shock if he's
I talk about Spurs.
Take the mask off, for God's sake. Yeah.
Honestly, when we talk...
Oh, put it back, put it back.
Put it on. I love getting into him about Spurs. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And he was saying if they buy Savinho and Mamouche, they're guaranteed top four, top two. And I'm like, come on, mate, come on. The Ange mask will come out, and it just grew legs and arms. The thing, and it just exploded.
You got many more masks?
No, yeah, we've got Benty mask.
Have you?
No, we don't. No.
Don't wear him in a bank.
Do you know what happened though? Here's what happened with the Ange mask. We bought it last season when he took over at Forest, and we ordered it from I think South America. By the time the mask turned up, he'd been sacked.
A very good evening and welcome to the final word with me, Majestic, alongside legendary Premier League gaffer Alan Pardew. It was an emotional affair at St James's Park as both Newcastle and Liverpool and the rest of the football world paid their tributes to the late great King Kev, Kevin Keegan. And when the action started, it was a pulsating game that ended in late penalty drama as Liverpool scored the last kick of the game to rescue a point. A proper King Kev classic. Newcastle fans and Liverpool supporters, what do you make of the game? The phone lines are open, 03 717 223344. Elsewhere, Aston Villa without striker Ollie Watkins was swept aside by Brighton, 4-0. Villa fans, we don't just want to hear from you, we need to hear from you. And Gabby, if you want to call us, feel free to call us, Gabs. And Man City came from behind to defeat Bournemouth 2-1 to get Enzo Maresca's reign after a winning start. So now, it's all about you, your views, and the phone lines are open, 03 717 223344 to air your views to the nation on the final word phone in here on talkSPORT. Well, a very good afternoon to my co-host and the man I like to call the gaffer on a Sunday evening, Mr. Alan Pardew. We're back once again, a new season, Pards.
What a weekend.
Wow.
And that's why we love this show, because it comes on just after it all finishes and we can sum it all up.
Do you know how much I love this show, Pards?
Go on.
I flew back from New York especially for it.
Oh, you had a gig there?
I was in New York.
Yeah, for a famous chain of clubs.
Indeed.
Yeah. And it good in New York?
Good fun in New York. Not good fun watching Spurs in New York.
We'll come on to that later.
We certainly will. But yeah, great to see the Premier League back. We're going to be talking about some of the big performers of the weekend, some of the bad performers as well, because there's been some bad performances. But we've got to start with it, your former club, Newcastle, and of course, we've got to start with the tributes towards Kevin Keegan, because it was wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, my era, we remember Kevin as a player, and he was like a massive superstar. You can't believe how big he was. Harry Kane and Bellingham, you just parked them. He was way above that. He was the iconic footballer for this country. He was he had such a great personality around it all, of course. And the tribute today was really moving, I thought, and an excellent and loved by obviously both clubs. More so, obviously, for his managerial career that come later for Newcastle.
Yeah, and of course,
he helped me a couple of times actually,
really?
Privately. Yeah, a little phone call here and there, and a little message saying, "Oh, you're doing great," blah blah blah, which was always nice. Well, actually, more than nice to hear from Kevin Keegan, of course.
Absolutely. And a lovely message from Kevin Keegan's family on every single chair, thanking everyone for the outpouring of love. It was a lovely send-off. So, and you know what?
And Geordies do that sort of thing brilliantly. Well done to everybody involved up there.
You mentioned you remember King Kev as a player. I remember him, of course, as Newcastle manager, the entertainers. And it was always a great game between Liverpool and Newcastle when he was manager. And it was today. It finished 2-2.
An epic finishes. And unfortunately, we've had an epic finish again.
We have. And wow, that last moment, the penalty. Was it a penalty, Pards?
Well, I go back to, that moment when you're in a stadium, there's like literally seconds that it. Just like put it in the box. Like the whole stadium's like, go and put it in the box. And usually they get a pass in and it all goes nowhere. But they launched it in the box. And of course, the knockdown, it comes to him. It's light, in my opinion. I think the referee should have let it go, i.e. not give it
Really? Well, Stephen's a Newcastle fan. He was at St James's Park. Let's go straight to the phone lines and get instant reaction from you guys. Stephen, how are you?
Well, disappointed, obviously. My voice is a bit broken, but yeah, it's been a great day. I've got to say the Keegan tribute was tremendous.
Yeah.
Feel really sorry for Lewis Hall. He was man of the match. He had a tremendous game, Lewis Hall.
He really did.
What happened at the end, I couldn't really tell. I sit behind the dugout alongside the press, so I couldn't really see at the time if it was a penalty. And I looked across to the press guys, who I know now quite well. I've been sitting there for years, and they all sort of nodded their head and said, yeah, they thought it was a penalty. So, you know, if they say it was, well, fair enough. But I mean, if you guys have seen it, you're saying you're not quite sure.
Yeah, it was a difficult one, Steve. It's one of those ones that can be given either way. You know, if it was let go, you could say, okay, fair enough. And it's the way it was given, you can say, look, there's definitely contact there. Stephen, I just want to talk about the performance from Newcastle. I thought you played really well. You know, me and Pards were looking at Vissa as one of our performers of the weekend. I've said it already. I'm not actually worried about Newcastle this season. I think you're going to have a decent season. I think, you know, like everyone wrote Brentford off last season when the new manager came in. What did you make of the first performance under the new gaffer? I really like your new gaffer.
To be honest, I really like. He's come across. He said everything you need to hear a manager say.
Yeah.
His whole tactical, his system, the way he plays seems to suit what we do. I just think everything since Eddie Howe left has been pretty much perfect. Yasler would have liked the next maybe month to try and work with the players, etc. But I just thought today, a lot of the players who couldn't get a game under Eddie Howe, the likes of Ramsey's, Willocks and Murphy's, people like that, all stepped up to the mark. I thought Bamba looked well. Young Sean Sir had a great game. Wissa, I said when even Wissa wasn't playing well last year, arguing with some of my pals, saying Wissa will eventually come good.
He will, yeah.
He's got that natural. He runs into the box, he runs into space, runs beyond the defender, stays on side. He knows how to play as a number 9. The only disappointing thing for me is we've got a 60, 70 million pound player on the bench in Baltimore who it's just dead money. I mean, we've got to try and move that lad on somehow and try and get in someone like a Jackson or a Delap. We can't allow Wilson to have to try and run the whole season on his own. He's going to burn himself out. I know we've got no Europe, but Wissa looked dead on his feet today. I felt a bit for Wissa. It's a pity he didn't get his second goal when he maybe could have done a little bit better. But
on the cross, should have towed it in.
I thought even Hornacek looked a bit suspect in the pre-season games, but he looked very composed. Today. His kicking looked really good. Dedek looked good. Everything about us today looked good, but we've still got a very thin squad. We need in. I mean, when Yasler first came, he said he thought he wanted 2 players before the Liverpool game. We got the right back, and he said he wanted 2 after until the window closes. I think it's going to be a manic 7 days. I do think we're bringing another 2, maybe 3. Fingers crossed. We still look a bit light in midfield because every time there was a transition, it looked like we were up against it. So Wissa wasn't this person who was going to drop in and help the midfielders out. He's a natural striker. I just think we had a big hole in the middle when if they got the ball in their sort of third when they pushed forward, they got into our final third very quickly, which I was a bit of a worry.
Stephen, great call. Thank you very much, Pards. What did you make of those comments?
Well, I want to go back to the point he's saying about Willock, Murphy, Wissa. You know, didn't get a lot of action last year for one reason or another. Wissa injured, but the other 2. You know, maybe when you've been there a long time as a manager, you know, I'm going to use the word custard pie, but you've custard pied the player. Like, he's played well, but you put someone else in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he goes on the bench, and you've done it again and again and again and again, right? And of course, then it comes to an end. It sort of like peters out then. That belief he has in the manager is taken away. And then a new manager comes, and then, of course, they've got, their life has been reborn.
Yeah,
and that's what they looked like today, didn't they? When they come on, Willock in particular, it was like I'm back in the Newcastle jersey. This is where I want to be. Da da da. So it gives a new life to some of those players, and I think we see that at Newcastle today. I take the point there about the midfield of Newcastle. It does look a little bit lightweight. They're going to need an heavyweight in there.
Well, they've lost their heavyweights, haven't they?
Let's be honest, they have, but they need a heavyweight.
They look good on the break. They look really good on the break. So if they can get someone in that,
but I mainly took Wissa. I thought, his actions in the number 10 role were brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, getting it and running at the back 4 and causing problems. I mean, obviously, when we look at this game today and they're showing the replays now of the penalty, it does look clumsy from Hall.
Well, just to confirm, the referee's call of the penalty for the challenge by Hall Munoz was checked and confirmed by VAR. The ref says he doesn't play the ball. He makes clear contact. VAR, it's knee into thigh contact, confirming the on-field decision of penalty. So it was a penalty.
Exactly how that's worded is at what you see on the TV.
Yeah, exactly.
So Newcastle fans will really be unhappy because it's obviously the last moment of the game. But looking at it again, probably was a penalty.
And if they told before the game 2-2 with Liverpool on the opening day of the season, they would have taken it 100%. Loads of calls are coming in. The switchboard is alight with your calls, and we want you to be a part of it. It is the final word, of course, with Imagine Pards. Get those calls into us now, especially Newcastle fans, as we have your ex-gaffer here, Alan Pardew, in the studio. Was it a penalty? Well, officially it was. Was the draw the right result? And what did you make of your first game of the new era? I tell you what, as always, you know it more than anyone else, Pards. It was loud over St James's Park, wasn't it?
Well, you know, I said to you when we were sitting in the waiting to come on, that stadium, you just can't underestimate the noise it makes, particularly if you're leading and they're like trying to get you home. I thought that Newcastle were going to win that. It was a bitter blow, really, that end of the game.
Absolutely. 03717 223344 is the number to call. The Premier League is back. Imagine Pards is back. Sundays have never sounded so good, and it's going to sound even better when you call us on 03717 223344. It's Imagine Pards here on talkSPORT.
So this summer has gone from bad to worse for Villa. Unai Emery, Morgan Rogers and Yuri Tielemans already gone, of course. And now it looks like Konza, that's the big one, is on his way to the Arsenal. Let's bring in another Gabby, who must be delighted. Gabby the Gunner, who has called us in 03717 223344. Gabby, a very good morning.
Dry your eyes, Gab. I know it's hard to take, but Concer's made his mind up. There's plenty more fish in the sea. Dry your eyes, Gab. I know you want to make Concer see how much his pain hurts, but you've got to walk away now. It's over. Sorry, Gab. And Alan, welcome back, sir.
Thanks,
I'm
mate.
so pleased you've got a fit bill of health.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
No, I'm good, Gabby. Thank you very much, mate. I was missing this, so I'm back.
Missing you.
He's not missed you, mate.
Missing you, Alan.
He ain't missed you, Gabby.
Oh, he always misses me. It's you he doesn't miss, Gab.
What,
Come on,
can I
bro.
ask you a question,
Gab in
though?
Essex.
You know,
Go on,
spending what you spent again this summer, is the minimum Champions League and Premier League for Arsenal?
Oh, Gab, listen, you've got always got him make a
I'm
great
asking
politician,
you.
wouldn't he, Alan? He really would make
I'm
a
asking
great
you.
politician.
Are you closer to winning the Champions League with these signings?
I still think we're short of one exceptional striker. I think Osimhen, Alvarez, that's kind of the missing link. It could be enough with Solis and with the guys we've got.
Yeah, I was an Englishman in New York only 12 hours ago. And now I'm back.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy to think.
What do you like most about New York before we sort of get back to the football?
The architecture.
The buildings. And
Yeah.
it's
When you
amazing.
look at over like, you know, Brooklyn Bridge and you just see the skyline, it's
Yeah.
you feel like you're in a film, don't you?
Yeah, film set, yeah.
And of course, Sting, big Newcastle fan.
Yes, he is indeed.
So it makes sense why we played that here on the show. Welcome back to the Final Word phone here on talkSPORT with Madge and Pardew. It is Sunday evening. This is where we reflect the whole weekend of football. And, of course, we are reacting to the big one, Newcastle and Liverpool. The blockbuster of the weekend in terms of when you looked at the schedule.
Yeah, fixture list, yeah.
Especially with the passing of King Kev. And we got to have the tribute as well. Lived up to it. All the drama. Some great football as well. Lots of negative comments at the moment on social media about some of Liverpool's defenders, in particular Van Dijk, Wirtz. You know, they're all getting it.
Yeah, well, you can see that because it.
Oh, Isaac as well. He's getting it, but the defence, especially Van Dijk, people are looking at.
I got to be honest, it looked very much like Liverpool loved last season, where it just doesn't look right. There's some big names in the team sheet. It all looks on paper like a really good, powerful team, but they struggled at times today. Didn't push in when they were attacking, so therefore Newcastle were allowed to break. Some defending. Kirkez, I thought, was poor today. He looks, really out of sorts and got caught. The first goal, I felt sorry for him because he was just nowhere near catching Elanga. He's probably the fastest player in the Premier League, or one of them. So that was a bit unfortunate. But the rest of the game, I didn't think he played well. The worry is at the top of the pitch. More importantly, with the two massive signings, looked ordinary, more than ordinary, didn't they today?
Mm.
They didn't combine. I can't a great moment between the two of them. They looked like they were both sort of wearing the role, but not playing the role, if that made sense.
I know what you mean by that, and it just...
Isaac looks short of a yard to me.
Yeah.
To the Isaac that I see at Newcastle before this injury, he looks a yard short. Now, he's had a good you like to think he's had a good pre-season. You like to think he's right up to speed, but he didn't look it today.
Yeah, interesting to see as well. Cody Gakpo playing for Liverpool, linked with Spurs, of course.
Well, he played well, actually.
Got himself a goal. Only got 5.7 on here. Isaac actually got 6. Let's go over to some Liverpool fans. We've got a few waiting for us. Sam was at the game. Let's go to Sam. Evening, Sam.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. How was the tributes to King Kev first? How did you make those?
Oh, it's class. Absolutely class from both sets of fans. Absolutely class. As expected, I guess. As expected.
Yeah, two great sets of fans, aren't they, to do that honour? Brilliant.
Yeah, my cause, just for frustrations, there's two things really. I think first one, your comments on Van Dijk, I feel like he's a little bit of a scapegoat because he's got no cover in front of him from midfield, and he's sort of carrying two poor wing backs really. I think Jack 8 today was really, really good. But I think Kirkez and Frimpong give them both so much work to do.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But Van Dijk, there's a couple of moments in the game where he didn't take responsibility, I didn't think, for runs that were coming off him. Wisser in particular played a 1-2 and run off him, and he seemed reluctant to go with him. There are moments that he has, which 3-4 years ago, he never had them moments. He was just sound the whole game. But I do take your point. I think they are a little bit exposed, Liverpool, and we're seeing that, aren't we? As you say, with Newcastle breaking on them today and last year in particular.
Yeah, my big thing is everyone seems to see the issue from last season. It's Fabinho's left and we haven't had a proper number 6.
Correct.
And everyone sort of can see that's an issue, and it were an issue massively for us last season. And you've got Gravenberch kind of playing that role, but both times he's lost ball today, we've conceded from it. I don't understand why. Fair enough, we're looking at great wingers, but I don't understand why we're looking at signing 2 or 3 wingers when that number 6 is massively. It's just a gaping hole in midfield.
Do you know what? It's funny, Sam. As I look at the lineup today for Liverpool, there genuinely is a gaping hole in the middle where someone should be there. And you're absolutely right. It was reflected in the game today, and that's where Newcastle got their joy from breaking straight through that centre of the park paths, didn't we? We saw with Vista with that great run.
Yeah, when you talk about, let's talk about the best at it and Rodri, right? Yes. So, what Rodri does really, really well is see danger when they were attacking Man City. Correct. He could see that the opposition were going to intercept or they were going to break it down, and then the ball out, he would just read it. And Liverpool and Gravenberch in particular doesn't do that anywhere near as well as Rodri. what Gravenberg does is really well is passing and having the ball. That's where his strength lays, really. But the defensive side of the game is a little bit of a concern, particularly I think away from home. It is even more of a problem. So, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they do need to look at another player in there.
Interesting stuff. Thank you very much, Sam. Let's go to Ross. He's a Liverpool fan. He joins us on the final word. Good evening, Ross.
Hi, much up, How are you doing?
Yeah, very well indeed. Great to have the Premier League back and great to have a bit of a Super Sunday there. As a neutral, 2-2, great for us. But for you, was it frustrating to watch?
Yeah, I think it was. Firstly, congratulations to Newcastle. Had a horrible summer, lost a lot of players, lost a legend of a manager. And I thought they were really good today. They looked sharp. They were first to all the second balls, and I think they probably deserved the win. To be honest, we really nicked the point at the end there.
Yeah.
But my point is, and it picks up on what you said earlier, parts about Van Dijk. He's been at this for a while now. There were more than one occasion today where he could have put a tackle in on the halfway line. The second goal, for instance, being a point in case, he can put a tackle in, but he doesn't. He runs with the attacker, sort of alongside him, looking back over his shoulder at him. And he takes, he basically takes the attacker to the edge of the box before he'll do anything. I don't know why he does it. Just put a tackle in on the halfway line. Worst case, you miss it, but it was a 2-on-6. We had 6 players around there too, and he doesn't. He just backs off. And I've said this again. I've called it a few times in the last year. I'm actually done with him, to be honest.
I don't think you're alone with it. I don't think you're the only Liverpool fan who feels that way either. And I'm just talking from a professional point of view. If I go back 2 years ago to him, or 3 years ago even, he never got exposed. He never looked short of a yard. His tackling was on. His heading was powerful. He was a threat at set plays. So when you start looking at all those assets that he had then, and you look at him now, he doesn't look in the same mode, does he? It's quite, it doesn't. You don't be a genius to work that out. The reason behind it, the process of why he's ended up like this, might be that he's just not comfortable with the defenders around him. I think that is a possibility. And he's lost confidence maybe because of that. But he is definitely playing below his very, very best. That I have no doubt of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's stealing a living at the moment. I really rate Jackie. He's very, very good for a young lad.
Yeah, done well today.
Araujo, yeah, really good. His passes, his forward passes, he fires them into feet from like 20, 30 yards. It just splits the line straight away. He's a really good prospect. Araujo's got a good head on him, and when Leone comes back, hopefully he'll come back fit and he'll be promising. So next year, I think that'll be it for Van Dijk, I think, or he'll be, filling in off the bench.
Yeah.
We really need a solid set of centre-backs, because at the moment, and I do feel for him, because he's had, since Matic went, he's had Gomez.
He's had a few partners, definitely, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's definitely got a crime sheet of the reason I'm not so good at the moment is because what's gone on around me.
Yeah,
he's definitely got some excuse column there.
Great call. Thank you very much, Ross.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask Ross about Wirtz. Be interesting to see the feedback on him.
Well, we got Ross. He's still there. If you want to speak to Ross,
is he still there?
Yeah, Ross is still there.
Well, as you say, if you've got a centre back banging those balls into your number 10, you want a little bit more from your number 10, don't you? Than you see today.
Yeah. He wants to put himself about a little bit more. You think De Bruyne would find those little half spaces and he would make himself an absolute nuisance. Wirtz doesn't do that. He just comes to the centre back, plays it back, tries a little cute turn and a flick. And he and Ekitike had a really good relationship. They were kind of on the same wavelength, it's as if he related to him straight away. But he and Isak, they're not on the same page. They're not even on the same comic, to be honest. And it might be better when Ekitike gets back and he feels more confident with the kind of runs that he makes.
Yeah, that's true. You're a big fan of Ekitike.
Yes, I really do like him a lot. I actually think you'd probably get more out of him than Isak at the moment. Isak's really low on confidence.
Oh, I see.
The Sports Breakfast Show returns tomorrow, Pards, from 6 a.m. with Jeff Dillon.
Striker on there. Who's a proper striker?
Well, he's alongside Ali McCoy, who was a proper striker.
Another proper striker.
But then we'll be joined by former Liverpool, Newcastle, and Ballon d'Or winning Michael Owen.
Ballon d'Or winner.
Put some respect on his name.
22, was he 23 when he won that?
Something like that. But yeah.
So young.
Unbelievable, wasn't he? But for now, he's going to be with him in the morning. For now, keep your calls coming in. 03717223344. Liverpool fans, are you happy with your big name superstars? And Newcastle fans, Is the future looking bright after a summer of losing yours?
Brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most people and columnists are thinking they're going to have a really tricky season. And I still think they're going to have a difficult season unless they sign some bodies. They do need to. They did well today, but you could see they need a bit stronger than that.
I think Newcastle will be all right this season.
Yeah, they're not going to be in any trouble.
No, I've already tipped them to be the Brentford of last season. You know, everyone.
Like a 7th, 8th finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're listening to The Final Word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. It all starts with a spin. 18 plus, gamblerware.org.
And 2 weeks today, the transfer window closes. Would you anticipate much more business in terms of incomings between now and then?
Well, you can see the league, how unpredictable the league is and the amount of things that can happen on a day. So it's better not to talk too much, be prepared, be open, and hopefully we can wrap up the transfer window in a really positive way.
You were speaking before the Community Shield. You were asked about your long-term future and contract negotiations, and you said there's nothing to worry about, Arsenal fans. Do you see yourself as somebody who can do what the likes of Guardiola and Wenger and Ferguson did and stay at the club for many years and build a dynasty?
I want to do what I'm capable of doing and what is the best for the club. And I feel very, very happy and grateful to be sitting where I am with the people that I work with every single day. And my ambition is to continue this way.
Was it strange at Cardiff on Sunday that you weren't facing Pep Guardiola in the dugout, given that rivalry that's developed and obviously your relationship with him?
It was different. Obviously, I know Enzo really well, but obviously the relationship that I built with Pep when we worked with each other, and then the amount of headaches and sweats that he has provided to me over the last 6-7 years to try to catch up to the level and the standards that they set in the league has been an absolute inspiration. I think he's left a benchmark and a mark in this league that it will be history forever, and he made us, I think, all of us better.
Have you had many conversations with him since the end of the season, since you were crowned champions?
I had, and I have due to have an important as well in the next few days, and I'm looking forward to it.
The Six Nations, where giants do battle and legends are made. Epic sports which demands an epic voiceover every time. And actually has an interesting story as well. It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. The other home nations were a bit jealous, wanted in on the action, and after England played Wales in 1882, they all decided to hold an annual festival of international rugby, or the Home International Championship, which kicked off a year after. Now, the first decade was dominated by England and Scotland until Wales finally won in 1893 and Ireland a year later. After years of dipping in and out of the championship, France was invited to join full-time in 1910. But because France isn't a home nation, they had to give it a rebrand and settle on the Five Nations. But France were actually kicked out of the tournament in 1931. They were accused of paying players when rugby was still strictly an amateur sport. They had to wait years to be let back in. But after World War II, the Five Nations resumed. Didn't always run smoothly though, like in 1973 when all 5 teams won 2 matches and lost 2 matches. Now, because they didn't do points difference at the time, they just decided that everyone was the champion. It's like trying to keep kids happy, you know, the whole, you're all winners. In the years following, other teams in Europe started to get better at rugby and actually got to a stage where they were regularly beating teams in the Five Nations. In 1997, Italy beat Scotland, France and Ireland home and away, So 2 years later, the Five Nations invited Italy in, creating the Six Nations as we know it. In recent years, there have been calls to expand the tournament further to other European teams. Georgia and Portugal have been prime candidates to join of late. It's also been suggested there could be 2 tiers with promotion and relegation to promote growth of the sport in Europe. But the existing nations are a bit reluctant. So for now, it looks like the Six Nations, or Six Nations, or Sei Nazioni, is here to stay.
Good evening, welcome back to the Final Word Phone In with Match and Parts. We're getting our breath back from a sensational game at an emotional St James's Park as Newcastle and Liverpool played out a 2-2 classic as the visitors picked up a point with a last-minute penalty. If you don't think it's a penalty, was it soft? Newcastle fans, come speak to your former gaffer about your club's performance. And Liverpool, are you worried about your underperforming superstars?
Got a draw away at Newcastle. Still a good result.
Exactly, like Van Dijk.
First game of the season.
Burton Isaac. Soon we'll be discussing a horror show from Aston Villa at Brighton.
Sounds like you've got a few issues, doesn't it?
And a disjointed performance by Manchester City, which... Remember, talkSPORT's now available to watch live in more places than ever, including on Samsung TV Plus and YouTube. So make sure you're tuning into us for our round-the-clock coverage of the new Premier League season. But for now, call us on 037172244 to air your views to the nation on the Final Word Phone on talkSPORT.
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Before we go back into the course.
Talk to me.
Is YouTube taking over the world?
Go on.
Like, in terms of football, all the podcasts and everything else and clipping it up and sticking it on there. It's massive, isn't it?
It's huge. It's too much for me, in my opinion.
I mean, it's always been around. I mean, I can, YouTube in 8-10 years ago, I think was I? I seem to remember, like clips of songs and stuff like that. But it seems to have really gathered pace with the football world.
Do you know what it is? There's just too much noise around it. Like, for example, the horror show that was Spurs yesterday at Brentford.
Let's wait.
We'll talk about it later.
I'm all leveraged up for it.
But everyone's just so reactive.
I'm like a coiled spring.
Everyone's just so reactionary to everything now. It's like...
You turned your phone off, didn't you?
I didn't.
Look, you turned your phone off because you apparently was in a spa.
Listen,
that's the official line. You did turn your phone off.
I didn't turn my phone off.
I think you turned it off.
I went to the bathhouse in New York.
Yeah, which sounds like a very nice place, by the way.
You know what? After watching that, I needed to unwind.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. That's what I did.
But subconsciously, I think you was hiding from a bit of...
No. Listen, I stand up to take the abuse. I'm here.
Okay.
And you know what the most ironic thing is? Do you know what? I just randomly threw it out there as well when we did the Inside Spurs podcast last week. You know what my prediction was?
Spurs win.
3-0 to Spurs. And we got battered. But speaking of getting battered, Aston Villa fans, get ready to call us, please.
What is going on with Ollie Watkins? One of my favourite players, by the way. I love Ollie Watkins. It sounds to me like his toys have gone out the pram. Not going to play, or maybe that sort of got an injury. I hope that's not the case because he's I know he's a really good lad, so I'd be surprised if he is in that mode. But going by that interview after, it sounded a bit like he was questioning it in a sort of managerial way.
Villa fans, get ready. 03717223344. But right now we are talking about the King Kev. El Clasico today. It was, like I said, when I think of Kevin Keegan and his Newcastle team, I always think of Liverpool and Newcastle, those big games. And you look back at the highlights, they were great. It was one goal, and then there's another goal at the end. And we got that today, so as a neutral, it was great. But I think Newcastle walk away from that game with a lot of positives, a lot of reasons to keep their head held up after the summer that they've had. And like I said, I really like their new gaffer. There's something about him. There's something about him.
He's energetic on the sideline.
Yeah.
You can tell he's involved in the game, which I think fans like to see that.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah. I was just trying to, when I was thinking about Kevin, I was thinking of trying to his 3 greatest moments, right? I mean, wow, he's got loads of moments.
He won a Ballon d'Or, didn't he?
Yeah, he won it twice, I think. Wow. At Hamburg. He in the European, vague memory of the European Cup final. I'm sure there's Liverpool fans out there who are going to correct me. And he gave Volks and he ran him all the way through the middle of the pitch and got penalty. I'm sure that's what I remember. That's what would be one of my highlights. But according to Kevin, the only he got remembered for was his rant. About to Fergie at the Man United.
I'd love it if we beat them.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
It was brilliant, but when you think of what he achieved in his playing career and managerial career, and that's the thing that you get remembered for. Well, that's how it is.
That's life, isn't it? The one little viral thing you do, you get remembered for.
Like me, even with dance.
Yeah.
This is just people talking to me about dance.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Like me saying Spurs are going to win at the weekend.
Yeah.
Right, let's go back to the phone line on 03717 22344. Let's go to Richie. He's a Newcastle fan. He was at St James's Park. Evening, Richie.
Good evening, Majestic. Good evening, Pods.
Great to have you on the show, mate. Yeah, very well. Listen, for neutral, we enjoyed that very, very much so.
I'm not neutral.
Oh, yeah, you okay.
Sorry.
I'm talking about me.
All right.
But, Richie, it sounded electric in St James's Park this afternoon.
Yeah, let's start off what a fitting tribute to King Kev.
Yeah.
And, impeccable from both sets of supporters.
Yeah, let's do a little round of applause for the fans today, by the way. They were outstanding.
Absolutely brilliant. And that set the scene for what was a terrific game for, as you say, the neutral. I mean, I'm sat here with a Scouser taking him home. He, to be fair to him, says, we deserve nothing from that game. It was soft. It was a soft penalty. I was a bit fearful for the season, I must admit, given the summer we've had. But absolutely, to a man today, those guys rocked up, and I think they absolutely dominated Liverpool. I think Wissa was absolutely outstanding today. Not just his striking abilities, his defensive work rate today was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Look, he's getting the man of the match as we speak now, Vissa.
Well, he 100% deserved it. That man ran his socks off today. Alanga, again, another one who's come in with criticism. A lot of last season. He owes us a good season this year, and he's delivering.
And Richie, that's the thing. Like you mentioned, you mentioned Alanga and Vissa. If those two turn up and do what we know they can do, it's going to be like you get signed 2 incredible new players. Because as you saw today, Vissa on the break is so dangerous. I'm watching him now on the screen. He's unbelievable.
When I used to watch him play against us, he'd be rapid. He'd be away with the ball, and he'd be thinking, "Oh God!" And then he'd bang the ball in the back of the net. He did exactly what he said on the tin. So when we signed him, I was over the moon. But obviously, he just didn't deliver last season for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But it's the dawn of a new era. We've got a new manager. We've got some fantastic young kids. A young lad from Ajax, Stoyer Stur. I think couple of years of experience in the Premier League. I think he's going to be one to watch.
I got a little theory about Newcastle. Right, I just want to tell me what you think about this. Firstly, I want to just pat on the back the goalie today. Hornacek. He looked good, didn't he?
I literally sit to the left of him on the front row of the Gallagher. And again, I didn't know that much about him. He wasn't that great in pre-season, I didn't think. So again, I'm thinking, what is it with Newcastle and goalkeepers? But today, fair play. Absolutely. I mean, one of the saves he made low down to his left was absolutely world class.
Yeah, I remember that save you're talking about. It was unreal.
But his distribution, He's even his football, you know, he's always looking to bang a ball, and his distribution's like 200% better than Pope's ever was. You know, no disrespect to Pope. He's been a good servant to Newcastle, but I can't see him coming back in again. I think he'll be off. You know, and he goes with our love and our thanks. But
this is what I wanted to just go back to one other point, right? Which I think I just want to throw this out there. And I'm throwing it to you, Madge, as well about this. I was thinking about this on the way in. Say you're the head of the wealth fund of the Saudi Arabia, right? And you own Newcastle, and you've invested in the team to make this club the #1 club in the world, right?
Yeah.
And then you come in and then you realise the rules, right? The rules around the financial fair play, etc., the UEFA rules, the Premier League rules are actually restricting your outlay. You can't go and be the world's greatest team at the moment. You just can't under the rules because they can't spend it, can they? Because they got to have a certain amount of limit. So where would you then have would you go, do you know what? Let's buy young. Let's sell a few of the big ones, change it round, you know, and wait maybe for a rule change further down the line. Play a longer game. And I thought about that in Newcastle today, whether maybe there's a few clubs in the Premier League going, Aston Villa, the example is Aston Villa, isn't it? Having to sell all their big players, you know, at the moment because they got to get under the financial ceiling. And I think some Premier League clubs will be looking at that. Does that make sense to what I'm saying?
But they all voted it in.
What do you mean?
The financial fair play. All the clubs voted it in, didn't they?
You have to have, I think it's 14 votes of the Premier League to get it across the line. Yeah, they did vote it in because they thought at the time it would work. What I'm saying is now it looks like a bit of a cartel, doesn't it? Like the top teams seem to have gone like, well, okay.
If this was the sports bar, I'd have the violin music on right now.
No, but how are you going to break the mould? How do you break the mould? How's Newcastle, Aston Villa break the mould? They've had a good go at it, but financial is now like
but this has been
punctured the balloon.
Well, this is like, for example, they're selling their best players. They want to go like, for example, Konza, he's gone to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Rogers has gone to Chelsea. They've gone up. They've stepped up.
What do you mean?
They've gone to bigger clubs.
No, but
that happens.
No, it does happen. But my point being, how can we get one of the clubs from that little midsection?
No, ask Leicester.
Even Everton.
Ask Leicester.
Leicester, Everton. No, but Spurs have been there as well at some point as well.
But ask Leicester how they did it.
Spurs probably got actually more chance of breaking it because obviously the revenue is so much bigger with the infrastructure that you've got in place. But my point being, if I was the owner of Newcastle, would I go, I'm not going to be able to break this mould. I just can't get past it. So what I'll do is I'll sit tight, build the club, build a new training ground, which they announced this week, make the infrastructure, build a new stadium, and maybe we can get that rule changed a little bit and give us a chance to really prove that we can be the biggest. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. But again, this is, when we've had this discussion and this debate, and I've heard it on air, and, it's obvious, often Gabby quite upset about being a Villa fan, and I understand it, yeah? But you got to remember, within the last, 10 years or whatever, both Newcastle and Villa have gone down to the Championship, yeah? So now that they've come back up, they've established themselves, they're doing well, they're in the sort of the top 4, top 5 mixer. But it's a period of, it's taken Spurs 20 years, right, to get to this point now where they can actually spend some money. Not that it looks like it's been spent very well at the moment. No, we'll talk about that later.
That's
but
one game, but
yeah, exactly. I'm not going to be going crazy like that. But what I'm saying is, that's a period of time, and I think
but I hope that doesn't happen. That what I'm trying to sort of suggest might have gone on in boardrooms across the country.
Regardless of the financial fair play elements, Konza, Morgan Rogers, etc., they've all gone to bigger clubs. There's a food chain in football. It always has been. Like with Spurs.
Yeah, but it's only because it's the food chain that can't be broken at the moment.
But for example, when Berbatov left Spurs and went to Man United, when Carrick left Spurs and went to Man United, it happens.
Great players do change clubs. Yeah. That's normal.
Yeah, there's been a lot of tears lately about the financial fair play. It's pretty boring now.
Yeah, but I'm just my point was being not so much about the rules, but actually, is there a mindset in the boardroom?
No, I agree with you on that. And Newcastle 100% have looked at that model and gone. Yeah,
let's change the model a little bit.
And you know what? I think it actually will work in their benefit.
I hope so.
I think Newcastle are in for a good season. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. 03777 223344 is the number to call. Liverpool fans, Newcastle fans, we want to hear from you. Newcastle fans, are you agreeing with what Pards is saying with the change in direction of the club and the financial fair play? Maybe the owners are looking at the long game. Keep those calls coming into us. You listen to the final word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. It all starts with a spin. 18 plus gambling.org.
Spurs fans will be on salty crook. You're still bitter from the Europa League final. I just think they've overspent Tottenham. I think they've gone a bit mad in the market.
Talking of which, hello, Kate.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Kate.
Oh, we've missed you, Kate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good to speak to you, Sam.
Nice to speak
What
to you.
about me and Crookie, Kate?
Oh, Gabby, it's not fair. Nothing's fair. It's not fair.
That's a good accent, that is.
I have never heard in all my years of being a Tottenham fan such salty, crying, pathetic whining from Villa fans as I have at this moment. Your owners, Gabby, have got the opportunity to do what Tottenham have done. Why not build a big stadium? You've got, I think, as far as I know, you've got a piece of kind of parkland near Villa Park.
I like the heritage that Villa Park has got, to be honest.
Well, you can't have your
Well,
cake
then
and
you're
eat
never
it.
going to be a big club. You can't have it all, Gabby.
I think Villa are a bigger club than Spurs. Come on, let's not get silly now.
I'm just laughing at you. You're so funny. We finished 17th and we made 187 million more revenue overall than you in 24-25.
That's because Beyonce loves to come to the Spurs Stadium for gigs.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how you make the money. It's about making the money.
I love Beyonce to come to Villa Park.
Aston Villa, by the way, did a load of concerts to try and raise revenue themselves. They did that, actually, over the course of the last couple of years, which is great for them.
I agree.
But they do need to invest in the infrastructure around Villa
course.
Park, which is going to take time. Do you have to just understand that that is going to be the case?
A very good evening to everyone. It is Magic Pards Sunday night here on talkSPORT. It is the final word phoning where you have your say. Newcastle and Liverpool played out a 2-2 draw at St James's Park in an emotional day as both clubs paid an amazing tribute to King Kevin Keegan, who sadly passed away in July at the age of 75. We've been hearing from the fans who said it was an excellent tribute today, and that's what we like to see when we see greats in our game leave this earth, and we nod them off into the next phase and the next chapter of whatever life goes on. And we saw an entertaining game. Liverpool and Newcastle often...
Kevin would have enjoyed it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Probably enjoyed the result in a way. You know, he's put both teams getting a draw, getting something out of it on the first game.
Well, let's go to Dan. He was at St James's Park today. He's a Newcastle fan. Evening, Dan.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, very good. It's great to have the Premier League back and to have a Sunday afternoon watching Liverpool and Newcastle. There's always an entertaining game between those two clubs.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think a lot of people wrote us off before the game, before the season. You know, so everyone was expecting a cricket score, but it would have been nice if Isaac played. You know.
I like that. I like that, Dan.
No, but we played our heart out. You know, for the whole 90 minutes. You know, okay, was there a penalty? I don't know, but we're always going to have that biased opinion. But if we play like that, you know, maybe we could push top half. Maybe even get into the Conference League or something like that.
Listen, I looked at that Newcastle team today, and, you know, you forget about the Alangas and the Risses that they got. I think, Pards, and Dan, I'll see if you agree with me, if you can try and get some muscle in that midfield, because obviously you've lost a lot in Tonali and Bruno, etc.
Yeah.
You know, if there's someone out there, is there anyone you can think of that they could go for in that position?
Not off the top of my head. I'm not knowing how we're saying it straight away now, but, you know, when you look at when they get games where they're not the underdog, like in a way they were sort of the underdog today. So the break-in and defending for long periods was acceptable. When they're going to be asked to dominate the game and come up with ideas to break the opposition down, they might struggle a little bit with blocking teams in and getting caught on the break themselves because of the hole that they have there. But I thought, the young boys did well in there today. They did okay, and the youth and the energy today around that Newcastle team was a breath of fresh air, I thought.
I'll tell you what, Dan, see if you agree with me this as well, because I heard Newcastle were in for him. Apparently he's going to Benfica, but it's not a done deal yet. João Palhinha, who was at Spurs last year.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't bring him to Newcastle.
No?
No.
I wouldn't want him. That Nico Gonzalez from City.
Yeah.
So say again, Dan.
To be fair,
who from City?
Nico, is it Nico Gonzalez?
Yes. Yeah.
From City, I'd have him. But to be fair, I mean, Lewis Miley? How old's Lewis Miley now? What is he, 20?
Yeah, he's a baby.
Sean is 18.
Yeah.
Those two bossed the midfield.
No, they were brilliant today. I just said that. They were out. They there were times when I think it was the first goal where, he's made a poor decision. The central midfield player, he should cut across and get some and get some contact on the goal scorer. But
that was the young lad.
Yeah, that wasn't Miley. That was the other one.
The guy from Ajax.
Yeah, but that's mistakes you make when they're young. But the energy that they showed was tremendous.
But that's what I'm saying about putting a bit of experience in that midfield as well.
Yeah, well, there's always, there's always a lot of money paid for that role, isn't there? We've been talking about that over the years, Casido and Rice, etc. There's figures, Rodri, but you can play it differently. You can have a player there that it doesn't cost 80 million, if that makes sense. There's plenty out there.
Got a good message here from Mac, the Toon fan. The fact that the likes of Newcastle have to sell their best players and homegrown players to comply with restrictive financial rules and can't spend money even though they're the richest owners in the world shows they are wrong. The only ones who are bored of hearing about this are the fans of clubs like Arsenal who've been allowed to spend what they like before the rules change.
Yeah, Man City, yeah.
I completely disagree with that. And I'll tell you why I disagree with that, because it's like, we saw it with Chelsea were the first club to do it with Abramovich. Back to Blackburn when they won the Premier League. They were the first club to really buy the Premier League in terms of the money invested. It was a big. Who was the chairman at the time for Blackburn?
Walker.
Yeah, and that was a big thing at the moment, wasn't it? Right. But Chelsea and Manchester City are the two modern teams that have, effectively bought success with a big financial backing, right?
And both allegedly pushed the rules to the limit.
Correct. Yeah. So
which Newcastle can't do, and
so everyone around gone. Oh, we can't have this. Yeah. Now Newcastle have got the rich owner. They're like, no. We don't. We've got a rich owner. We'll do it now as well. There has to come a point. He mentioned Arsenal who have been allowed to spend money. I'm a Spurs fan, yeah, and I'm going to stick up for Arsenal here.
Well, Spurs spent more than Arsenal.
Yeah, but forget that.
No, they have.
Yeah, but forget
100%.
that. After Arsenal built the Emirates, every year they were selling their best players.
Yes.
Fabregas, Van Persie, Clichy, etc.
Yeah.
They had to.
Yeah.
And again, they didn't.
But they've done this slow build of, and it doesn't really look. Forget about the figures for a moment. If you buy and Brighton, and what about Brentford, the midfield player yesterday for Brentford, is another example, right? If you buy right, you don't necessarily need to do it.
Correct.
So what I'm saying is Newcastle are going, right, well, okay, we're not allowed to bring in £150 million Vinicius Junior in, or and map it. We just can't. It's not viable. It's not legal. So let's just go and pick and choose young players who we think might become those type of players, and that's the trick of it. And hopefully it works out for them. But today, great energy, good signings so far, and a rejuvenated. And remember, because I think it's in key point what I said earlier. Those players that have had custard pies for sub, Willock, Murphy were brilliant when they come on. You might get something else out of them this year.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned just there, right? They absolutely battered Villa today. Brighton.
Oh.
What club?
Yeah.
They don't get enough props.
Brentford.
These, Brentford was
their flags have both gone up the polls again to say, well, here we are. We're still doing it. Still selling players, but still bringing in brilliant players.
Superb recruitment. superb management from getting those guys to gel together. And I think we are really undervaluing that system and how well that they've done.
Well, I can still... I think Brentford, at the moment, have got 2 players, probably could go for 80 million.
Yeah.
I could look at Brighton. We know the winger, right, who's highly rated. Liverpool, I think, are after him. He's about 80 million. You know, so there is massive value in those squads.
Mm.
You know, it's brilliant what they've done.
Coming up soon, we'll look at the 2 early kickoffs in the Premier League, and we'll be taking more of your calls on 0371722 344. It's the Final Word phone in on talkSPORT.
Yeah, all right, boys, how you doing?
Yeah, very good. Good to have you on. What do you want to say?
I just want to say this stinky Arsenal chat from you boys this morning is nothing short of comical.
Go on.
Gabby saying that Arsenal should be winning the league with our spending. Well, both of you. You know, recruitment's a big part of it. Look at the likes of City. Well, not City, but the likes of Chelsea, United. They've spent loads of money. It's not a given that you're going to win the league. I think we've proven, you know, the culture Arteta's built alongside getting the right recruitment, bringing Berta in. You know, it's impressive.
Yeah.
So you don't think the money that you spent, you should be winning the Premier League?
I don't think it's got anything to do with the money. I think it's got to do with the
You know
quality.
what?
I think the quality of your squad is so good that you should be winning the league.
It costs a lot of money.
Definitely.
I agree. And that says more about the recruitment than just pure spending. Obviously, pure spending comes into it, but it doesn't mean that it's a given that we're going to win the league. Or I think we will win the league, but it isn't just as simple as saying we should be winning it. Arteta's not that good of a manager because of the spending.
Who said that?
Disagree with that. Well, that's what the sort of the signs I was getting from Gabby before. It was sort of like he should be winning the league.
No, when I'm saying you should win in the league, have you spent wisely? Yes, you have. Have you spent on players that have become fantastic players? Yes, you have. But you can't look at Arsenal's net spend over the last 6 years is nearly 800 million. You can't look at that and say, well, you know, we shouldn't be winning the Premier League.
It's ploughed back towards the edge of the 6-yard box and bundled in. And Arsenal lead by 3 goals to nil.
Mendy guiding the ball past Lovens to make it 2-0 to Hull City.
And it could well be game over here. It's Everton 2, Crystal Palace 0. It's Tierno Barry who's got
Nottingham Forest 0, Leeds United 1. Anton Stack with a free kick in front of jubilant Leeds United fans.
Jack Clark shoots!
And a former Sunderland player has come off the bench to potentially win it for Ipswich.
I think this is probably just about game over as far as Tottenham are concerned. There's a corner from the far side of the pitch which is nodded down, and there was number 33, Michael Kayode. It finished here, Brentford 3, Spurs 0.
Half an hour gone, Brighton 4, Aston Villa 0. It is Jack Hinchelwood again.
Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1, and Josko Vardiol has won it on Enzo Maresca's debut as head coach.
So Bosley has had a lot of time to work out what he wants to do with his spot kick, and he fires it high into the top corner, and Liverpool have rescued a point. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2.
It's back, the Premier League is back, and that is how it sounded here on talkSPORT. Don't forget, talkSPORT is your station for Premier League and, of course, EFL action throughout the season, for all the reaction, all the games. And Sunday nights, when Imagine Pards get you to have your say. And this is why we love this show, because you are having your say. And I love it, even when people disagree with me. This is why I love this show. Like Adam from Newcastle, thank you, Ad, for getting involved. He's like, what you're forgetting, Madge, is that Spurs are getting around FFP through non-football related revenue now. The Beyonce concerts, coupled with 2 times 17th places finishes, shouldn't result in 300 million worth of spending or whatever it is to weaken Newcastle, Brighton, etc. Spurs are only where they are by being a default Big Six. So I still remember when Newcastle were up there and Spurs were down at the bottom every season before Redknapp, Adam in Newcastle. I'd love that. That's your prerogative to come back. But when you come, sir, you come to the big match, man, you've got to come with facts and come correct, sir. Before Harry Redknapp. You forget about what Martin Yole did before Harry Redknapp, good sir. You know, you're talking about 2 17th places. If you're getting in that period of time, Spurs won a European Cup. Nice bit of prize money there.
Why have we got on the Spurs?
Because I'm having a conversation with my good friend Adam from Newcastle there, and he's talking about financial fair play, and the fact that Spurs finished 2 17 places in the Premier League doesn't mean that Spurs, who have got loads of revenue from different things, and can I just, before you button parts, because I can see you're ready to talk, Newcastle and Villa are the 2 clubs probably complaining the most at the moment about this financial fair play, because they've had a couple of good seasons, and they've been brilliant. And I really like both of those clubs. Genuinely, I love Newcastle. I think they've got great fans. I think it's a great football club, and Villa, a great football club as well. But the fact of the matter is, like any business, if you look at over a 20-year period, if I was going to the bank for a loan, etc., they can get my books for 20 years. In the last 20 years, Newcastle have been relegated twice. Aston Villa in the Championship for 2 or 3 seasons. Spurs wasn't there, and they didn't spend any money. That's why, don't be annoyed at Spurs about all this. Be annoyed at Man City and Chelsea, because this is why this has all happened. Everyone going for Spurs because they're spending money. But forget all that, because, Pards, you want to come back and say something about these rules, because it's got everyone... It's got everyone up in arms.
They're so confusing, right?
They are confusing.
They're so confusing. So the Premier League's 85% of its total football-related revenue, and the European UEFA rules are 70%, right? But listen to this clause. You ready for this clause?
Yeah.
It makes some sense of this one. The 115%
I saw this one.
red threshold. Have you seen that before?
No.
Clubs have a rolling 30% buffer above the baseline. Spending between 85% and 115% incurs financial penalties, levies. Breaching the 115% red threshold triggers an automatic 6-point point deduction plus a 1-point additional point for every 6.5 million overspent. I mean, this really is like these rules. Like the lawyers have got round these and worked it all out. But it basically, what it boils down to is you'll do very, very well to try and get into the Champions League position if you're not already one of the established big clubs. That's what it actually means. End of.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on because where are we going now? Are we going to? Because have we got anyone on from Villa?
We are literally about to talk about Villa, but before that, I want to hear from the gaffers because we want to hear from the gaffers about what happened today.
Oh, what the Liverpool?
Yeah,
Liverpool game.
A new Liverpool gaffer. Andoni Iraola was asked following a game what he made of both the goals his side conceded to Newcastle earlier.
Yes, both goals are very similar. No, I think probably different reasons. The first one, we have a great chance, I would say, even to finish. I think Ryan is on the edge of the opposition box and it's a clear, even corridor to finish. We don't finish it and then they punish us. Great run from Elanga, incredible. And the second one, I think we have the numbers to defend better. We should have probably closed it before. But also give credit to them. No, you are playing against Newcastle. Big threat, players in behind, fast forwards, transitions. But we started the game and straight away the first one we conceded, and it puts you under difficulties, yes.
Iriola there, the new Liverpool gaffer. What did you make of that pass?
Not much, really. The sort of, an explanation of the goals, but, it didn't really tell me too much. I think, when you talk about speed and transition and what, that is going to happen, isn't it? When you're a Liverpool, that is what you get every week, more or less. You get the odd game where you're literally toe to toe with the opposition, Man City, Chelsea, maybe not Spurs, but just so you know. But other than that, teams are going to transition on you and break on you. That's really what you got to work on, I should think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I'd like to think he'll find a solution for that.
Yeah, because it's going to be.
It was just too easy at times to break on them.
Yeah, especially that central midfield area that we saw, and like you said, there was a couple of moments Van Dijk didn't want to go to his.
He didn't want to push in.
Didn't want to press. No.
Yeah, sometimes when you're attacking, your centre half has to push right in, all the way in. And Wissa just he had 20 yards around him, just picked up the ball and ran at him.
Great stuff. Lots of people getting involved as well on 03717 223344. I'm going to come to some of those messages in a moment. As I said, even those that completely think I'm talking at me backside.
You're never talking out your backside. You're a very, very astute young man.
But I like when people disagree. I love the fact that we can have a discussion. It's missing in life when people disagree on something and go, I don't want to talk to you because your view's different to mine. Rubbish. Absolute nonsense. You can see I might be a little jet lagged. Right, let's go to Rob, the Liverpool fan who joins us on the show. How are you, Rob?
I'm okay. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, not so bad.
Not so bad. Yeah.
For a neutral, I enjoyed that game. As a Liverpool fan, how did you feel?
I think it's typical Liverpool-Newcastle game. They're always thrilling, usually end to end.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new there. I think Liverpool, the three midfielders, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and Wirtz need to talk to each other, because the Elanga goal, credit to Elanga, he's probably one of the fastest in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And he made Kerkez look very slow. But Newcastle were playing off the break all the time, so Liverpool just need to get the midfield sorted. So three of them aren't caught out of position at the same time, and I think Liverpool will be all right. But credit to Liverpool. I think the best player on the pitch was the goalkeeper for Newcastle.
Hornacek, the new lad.
Yeah, I think he was the best player on the pitch, in my opinion. But I think Liverpool will be fine. Once they decide who's going to stay and go between Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, because Wirtz is the attacking midfielder. So once they get that sorted, I think it'll be fine. I think maybe let Andy Robertson go a little bit too early, I believe. But we've got the other guy left back who can cover as well. So yeah, I think you can't take note off the first game of the season. You know what I mean? It's a typical Liverpool game. Liverpool and Newcastle always put great games on. You know what I mean? End to end. So typical Liverpool-Newcastle first game of the season. I think a point apiece is a fair result.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think they're very.
I don't really think there's a massive problem in Liverpool's midfield, right? I don't. Gravenberch, when they won the title 2 years ago, is that right? 2 years ago, he was perhaps their best player. So there's no reason he can't get back to that form. The biggest issues for me, the back four a little bit, and Wirtz and Isaac up top of the pitch. That would worry me. If I was manager of Liverpool, I'll be looking at that game today, thinking, when did they combine? When did they show body language together? You go back to if I go back to my old teammates when I played, if I go to Ian Wright and Mark Bright, their relationship weren't perfect. Like they were fighting each other, round with each other, but they knew where each other were on the pitch. They had a relationship. And I just don't see a relationship between those two guys, even in their body language, let alone, 1-2s, a little bit of interplay, or Isaac pulling off the centre half and making a little diagonal run, and Wirtz plays him in. Didn't see any of that today.
Well, what's really interesting is, especially watching Brentford yesterday, I thought Brentford was superb, right? And, we're going to talk about Brighton and Villa in a moment. The teams, people that have been playing together with a manager that's got them playing well together. I think Liverpool obviously got the new manager there.
Yeah, they got a lot of
a lot of bonding.
Confusion.
Yeah, like you said, fusion, that word.
Yeah.
That, they need to kind of get to know each other. And I thought Newcastle today, because of course Vissa and Elanga, they've already been there, etc. They've established themselves. I know there's a new gaffer there, but they did have the synergy that Liverpool was really lacking today. And I think we're going to see that in a lot of the clubs who are going again with like new players, etc. You can't. Well, I want to talk about the build up to the Premier League, because the World Cup happened. It felt like a real rush into the season. Lots of teams doing big tours. I think Aston Villa went to Hong Kong. Spurs were in Australia, etc.
Chelsea had done a massive run into Asia.
As a manager, how difficult is that to manage? Because I know you know people in the game as well that have been on these tours.
Yeah.
They can't be popular.
No, they're not. Well, they're not popular because, let's be honest, do the players really want to be on an aeroplane for 8 hours and then stop and then jump back on the plane for another 3 or 4 hours to get, or another 10 hours wherever, if you're going down to the other side of the world? No, they don't want to do it, really. They don't want to do it. The clubs are doing it for a financial reason, or maybe a director's relationship, or some sort of contract that's been signed where you promise the game in the States, etc., on the back of a World Cup. So you're having to fulfill these kind of contracts that have been put together. Nothing, and the manager's had no input at all. He has to just try and work his pre-season around the schedule that's been put to him by the club. And I don't think there's a lot of common sense goes into those decisions. Hence, you get these clubs who have really fractious build-ups to seasons. And because we got 9 new managers, right? Because you're a new manager, you really have to just accept what the club have done.
Yeah.
But if you've been there 2 or 3 years, you say, I ain't doing that again.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to Australia. We're not going to Hong Kong. No, we're not doing it. We're staying here. We're going to work. So I think there's a little bit of that in play in some of these results of the weekend.
I fully agree with you, Pards, and I wanted to find out how difficult that is for a manager to manage. We're going to continue to take your calls next, and so many messages coming through as well, and we're getting stuck into the horror show at Brighton by Aston Villa. You listen to the final word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. All your favourite games, all in one place. 18+, gamblerware.org.
Danny, when you look at it, United in that fairly congested midfield area, say Baliba comes through the door, Tielemans is there, Santos, Mainu, Bruno Fernandes. Well, it's going to be a mighty old force in midfield, is it not?
It looks a very strong group of players, all giving little different parts of what you want. A far cry, really, from what we've seen over the last couple of years. United struggling in midfield areas. And I think we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world. They'll be looking to try and compete for the Premier League and the Champions League in the next couple of years. Of course they will. That's the aim of a club like Manchester United. So you need at least 5, when you think about it, in the middle of the park, who are going to be pushing each other, especially if they play a 3. Bruno's probably the one standout, you say, in all the big games he's going to play. Yeah. He's got great durability anyway, and he's the match, the game changer, the match winner, the creative force, the goals. I would imagine for me, out of the others, Santos, Baliba, both young lads, both got more to come. Tielemans is more rounded, more ready to take that on. I think Tielemans has
Where does it leave Mainu? A lot of people asking me to ask you that.
Well,
and what's your ideal starting 3?
I think that would depend a lot on where they're at when they come in and how they adapt to the pressure and expectation of being at Man United, because that's never easy. I think initially he might go Tielemans, Bruno and Mainu, because Mainu knows what the manager wants already. I think Baliba will become one of the main men.
Good evening, it's the Final Word Phone here on talkSPORT with me, Madge, and in Pars, Majestic, Alan Pardew in the house until 9 o'clock when Trans Europe Express is back.
Tune underneath.
It's just like a bed, like a generic bed. You like it?
No.
Oh. I love that. I don't like it. Don't play it again. Pars has said no. I've got a funny message here. This is why we love our audience on the Sunday. Majestic, going off the subject of sport a little here, from Brian in Cheshire. What has been the biggest highlight for you? Spurs winning the Europa League or meeting and having a photo with the gorgeous Susanna Reid in Ibiza?
You have a picture of Susanna Reid?
I did.
Ah.
On Thursday in Ibiza. Or was it Wednesday? Wednesday.
TBAM. Susanna Reid.
Good Morning Britain, yeah.
Good Morning Britain. GM,
yeah.
sorry.
She had a picture of me and Armand van Helden. She was out there raving, having it large.
I've met Susanna a few times.
Lovely lady.
Yeah, very nice lady.
Very lovely lady. Very good at her job as well.
Oh, well, the best.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace fan.
Yes. Here we go. Kessie, Newcastle fan, said, you said something about Newcastle fans to come with facts. Well, you just said we've only had two good seasons in the Premier League. We've been second twice. I mean, in the top six a good few times. There's some fact. I meant in recent times, Kessie. That's what I meant. Recent times, like the last sort of 10 years. See, then Sai comes in. He's a Spurs fan. Says 2 poor seasons, yes, but won the Europa Cup and the first one, and got to the later stages of the Champions League last year. So in those 2 seasons, that also happened.
And when you set, the 17th position, 17th position.
Yeah, when we finished 17th twice, and then he says, last 20 years, finished in the Premier League, top 6 15 times, played European football 19 out of the 20 seasons. Hard, real facts, lads. That's from Sai.
Was that ordinary Kev? No.
This is Sai.
Oh, Sai.
Are you playing okay, you Wally? Right, let's talk about Aston Villa.
You never called me a Wally before.
I like it.
That's very insulting.
Wally. It's a good word, Wally, isn't it? It's quite nice. It's not hard.
It's sort of a friendly word.
Yeah.
It's a friendly.
Yeah,
you stupid idiot.
Yeah.
You Wally.
You Wally. Right, let's talk about Aston Villa because Brighton 4, Aston Villa 0, horror show.
Horror show. Why is it a horror show? Because it's 4-0.
Yeah. And Gomez getting sent off on his Villa debut as well. Ollie Watkins not in the squad.
Do you know what used to really irritate me as a manager, right? You lose a game. Say you're Lee on the sideline, it's 3-0. You're down 3-0. Okay. I knew straight away that if a 4th goal went in, it wouldn't really affect anything else other than the headlines.
Yeah.
When the headlines would be slaughtered, massacre,
the next goal is another level.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that it's... So... When I was in games where that 4th goal did go in, I used to think, oh, God, yeah, okay. Going to have a week of that. Yeah.
Now
disastrous.
Now people are waiting for, like, O'Hara and Cundy for, like, the words like whooping.
Yeah.
Like, if you lose 3-0, it's a whooping.
Yeah. Like 2-0.
And the sports bar's back tomorrow night, by the way.
2-0, you can get 2-0 get well beat, but you know, in a catastrophe, it isn't like, the end of the world, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just how it is.
Have you seen Jason Cundy's got a Jamie O'Hara mask?
No, I haven't.
It's very funny. Don't forget the sports bar is on tomorrow night after Fulham against Chelsea. Your team, Fulham.
Great game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that.
West London derby.
Alonso's Chelsea.
It'll be interesting to see how
Arabola's Fulham, which will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll see how that gets on. Let's go to Harry. He's an Aston Villa fan who was at the game today.
Oh, good.
Harry, how are you, mate?
Come on, Harry.
Oh, yeah.
What happened today, mate? Tell us from your perspective what you saw.
So, first of all, we all knew it was going to be a pretty lackluster performance, but we didn't expect that. I mean, it's been a terrible summer in terms of the players we've lost.
Yeah.
We all understood it was going to be a rebuild 100%. We got that. We need to bring the age of the squad down. But to let some of the names go, and especially Conser here, we knew today was going to be horrible. But for it to be that bad, yeah, I don't think anybody really saw that coming.
No, I definitely didn't see that coming. What was it? Because, for example, as a Spurs fan watching Spurs against Brentford yesterday, I can just say Brentford were just at it more than us. They wanted it more than us. They won every second duel. They won every second ball. What was it with Villa today against Brighton? Were Brighton like that? Did Brighton play very well?
Well, we started off the first 10 minutes. We were okay. We looked the better team. I think we were passing the ball about quite quickly. Buendia had a few chances. But if I'm honest with you, Madge, the biggest problem was we had no striker.
Yeah.
And that's by no fault of anybody but Ollie Watkins and his selfishness, I'm afraid to say. What's a player that has given us so much.
What's going on with that, Harry?
So, look, we know that Majo was injured, we know that Abraham was injured, and we know that Watkins wants to leave. That's the reports, and it looks like Al Hilal was trying to bid for him. Whatever. I haven't got a problem with that. he wants to go in generational money. That's fine. But and by all accounts, it looks like Emery's pretty much confirmed by refusing to play for a club that has given you everything, for fans that have stuck by you through the hardest of times. Because let's not be cut around any corners here. Ollie Watkins has not been perfect for Aston Villa. There has been some spells which have been very, very tough for him. And the Villa fans in the whole end have never stopped singing his name. And I can confirm that. I'm a season ticket holder. I go to away games.
Oh, no, I know that.
Never stopped singing his name.
Villa fans stick by their players. Listen, as I said, Villa, great fans.
Yeah, exactly. So for him to allegedly not play today, he's let down the fans. He's let down his players, his teammates, because every time that Pau Torres was bringing the ball out the back, every time Matty Cash was bringing the ball out the back, they were looking to hit the striker like they do, and there was nobody. And Ollie Watkins should have been there.
played up there, didn't he? The young, he's not. He can't play there really, can he?
No, he can't,
physical
Alan, he
presence.
can't.
No.
He can't. And the problem is, right, he's let down, most importantly here, the manager. The manager who has given him he's trusted him so much. It's disgusting. The amount of times he should have been dropped last season, and you can ask any Villa fan this, there was periods, especially towards the end of the season, where Watkins should have been dropped. People calling for Abraham to start. And Emery tried to play him into form, and he backed him, and he backed him, and he backed him. And to refuse to play for that guy today, who has given him, and probably saved his career in some aspects, because under Gerrard, I've never seen a player more lacking in confidence. So
Can I just come on to something which I think, just to make some sense of what you're saying on the other side of the coin, right? I'm not going to go into the money and, as you say, life-changing money, etc., etc. But I was always disappointed sometimes with players that I managed, that what you're talking about, all the times Emery stuck by him and the fans stuck by him, and you as a manager, you give them support, and then you get a scenario like this, and you get let down. As a manager, right? So I'm not talking so much about the fans here, because obviously the fans are let down, but I'm talking about as a manager. You're so hurt by that.
Has it happened to you?
Yeah, it has happened to me. Of course it's happened to me. It's happened to me numerous times, right? Where a player can't quite make it. Oh, he's on the verge of a move. It.
Can you not help? Can you not help but feel it personally?
Yeah, of course you do. And you say things like, you do remember when you was going with that rough patch, or you might have been a personal issue, do you know what I mean? And where you've helped them out, like on another level, you've put yourself right out for them. And now, right at this moment, they'll turn around to you, look you in the eye and say, Gaffer, it's for my family, and it's not personal.
As Harry said, him and the Villa fans are saying, look, generational wealth, we get it. But today, if that is the case of turning around...
How bare they were, that's... Well...
Is Harry still there? H, listen, you've wound me up so much, I'm annoyed. I feel like an annoyed Villa fan now for it.
Let me put it to you like this. We've just driven 3.5 hours to Brighton, right, to watch our team without a striker. We've left at half-time because we're 4-0 down for a red card. And now we're driving 3.5 hours back for a striker. All we ask is he does his job. What is this trend in football? This sort of Isaac at Newcastle. Players not playing, not showing up. If I don't show up to work tomorrow at 8 a.m., guess what happens to me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
what does Roy Keane? What does Roy Keane always say, Harry? It's your job. It's your job.
It's your job.
Oh, Harry, great call, and have a safe journey back, my friend. Harry there, Aston Villa fan, great call.
And that's what your argument as a manager would be. You're contracted to play for this football club. We've brought you this platform. We've give you this opportunity. We have actually presenting you with this new contract. It's us as much as you that you're getting this massive, great big deal. One favour, please just go and play today. Just go and give us Spear the striker. Listen, let's not bury Ollie, because he might well have been injured, right? He could well have got injured.
Well, let's find out, because we've got some memory here. After that heavy loss to Brighton.
We know where he stands on it.
For Unai Emery's Aston Villa. He was asked about playing without a striker of Ollie Watkins' omission from the squad ahead of a potential move to Saudi Arabia. Let's hear from the gaffer now.
I can't answer it. This is the question for him. The player we were here because they were available, and they were in the commitment we need to play and to try to get good result. Of course, today we were unlucky without strikers, and Watkins' issue is one thing he can answer himself. Another two striker, Tammy Abraham, he was with a small injury, and hopefully he can this week again join us to train. Mario as well, he has a small injury, and as well I think with some days more can join us again to train. And we needed to play today without the striker, but of course, how we started and how we were planning and how we could as well perform better like we did. Of course, through those players, I think we could do. But with the mistake we made and with the horrible 20 minutes we played, we lost it.
That was the gaffer.
Understand some of that. He mumbles a little bit for me. I can't quite get the clarity of what he's actually saying sometimes. Does that
He's
make
like
sense?
basically ask him.
Ask the player.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because he goes.
He said small injury. I heard him say small injury. The player said he had small injury.
He's talking about Tammy having a small injury as well, coming back. But I would just say to Villa fans, right? Me and you was on air. I remember it last year when Crystal Palace beat them 3-0. Do you remember?
Do you know the solution?
What's that?
To this, and to the Isaac solution. You know what the solution is? It's very easy.
Go on.
Shut the window before the game start. That's it.
It's just simple, isn't it?
It's as simple as that. Because you've got another 2 weeks of this going on. It won't be just number week.
Yeah.
Yes, number 8-9 days, whatever it is.
That's a great point. Just shut it before.
Just shut the window before the season starts. And calls and not only because directors need to make that decision. I'm sure like it's a UEFA, it has to go in with some UEFA guidelines or something.
Boring.
But just like, and then everything would be sorted. It would be okay.
So much easier for the managers. Must be such a headache.
No, for the clubs. Not just the managers. The clubs
everyone,
and the
and the
players.
player.
Players are all like Some of the players are sitting on the fence. They're going, "Oh yeah, go on, Ollie. You know you're right. Don't play." They don't think that they're all like going, "Oh, you got to play, Ollie." They're not.
Yeah,
Some of them are going, "You got to do what you think's right." Do you know what I mean? So it's all of that, all that apprehension, all that problem gets you a result like you and I got today. Was that was he in any control of that game today in terms of the motivation of the team, the setup of the team? Very little, in my opinion, and because of the scenario around him.
Well, Villa legend Gabby Abonglahor is on drive with Andy Goldstein on Tuesday from 4, so I'm sure he'll be having his say. We'll be taking your calls next, and we'll be finally getting around to talk about what happened at the weekend for Spurs against Brentford. It's the Final Word phone in on talkSPORT.
For the record, we've had 7 different Premier League winners.
Over 33 years, over 34 years.
But this time...
Wow.
But this time, Simon, do you not agree that this is probably the most competitive ever Premier League season on the horizon?
For participation, not for winning. You're going to be one of the 4 clubs that has the biggest turnovers is going to win the league. Aston Villa are not going to win the league. Newcastle are not going to win the league.
So how do you explain Leicester when they did it?
A rare and absolute anomaly that was never allowed to happen again because all the big clubs sat on their hands, suddenly decided that they could all do things in a certain way, and they got caught with their pants down. Even to the way that they allowed Leicester to play. Everybody knew how Leicester played. Drinkwater gets the ball, looks up, knocks it long for Vardy. And yet on the last game of the season, they were doing the same thing, and teams were still playing the same way against them. So don't ask me how I explain that situation, but it's not going to be repeated, and it hasn't been repeated since. And that was now a decade ago. So who's won the league since then? And who won the league prior to that?
So tell me straight, how many teams this time around do you feel can aspire to win the Premier League?
2, 3. But that doesn't mean the league's not competitive. The argument, why would you suggest that governance needs to be brought in to the most successful league that has been the commercially most successful league in the history of football? Why are you regulating it? What are you regulating it from? I understand what he's saying is that the Premier League clubs want some degree of control. They want governance. Yeah, they want good disciplines. They want good governance. They want good regulation. Is your regulation with the consequences of the way that clubs are suing one another now, the way that they're suing, the way that Man City have been hauled over the coals and been sat in abeyance for 2 years because you can't prosecute them properly, is that good governance and good regulation? Because to me, it doesn't look like it.
Formula One. It's a sport often seen as insular and elitist, but it's seen a meteoric rise under its owners Liberty Media, not only in popularity and viewership, but in the ability to almost print money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year, in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across their social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Good evening and welcome to the Final Word Final with me, Majestic, alongside the legendary football gaffer Alan Pardew. Thank you for all your calls so far. Right now we're the only place taking your calls about the football on national radio, so the phone lines are still open on 0371722 3344. In the next hour we'll be discussing a very different weekend for Arsenal, Spurs and Manchester United, and Pards will be casting his eyes over the new kids on the block. That's all coming soon on the Final Word on talkSPORT. Right, following his first Premier League game in charge of Newcastle, Matthias Jasler has had this to say on the penalty given to Liverpool.
I think it's a really soft one, a really soft penalty, and if you give that, then you will see so many penalties throughout the match, throughout the season, and I don't know if this is the benefit for that sport.
What did you make of Jasler's comments there?
Yeah, I'd be aggrieved if it had gone against me, because, you know, the last moment of the game, literally, you know the striker's going to go down. He does, his knee makes contact with his thigh. I'm not so sure it was as bad as the player made out in terms of the way he went over. But that's what happens in the last minute. Everything's, up for grabs.
Absolutely.
Be careful.
Let's go back to the Newcastle fans, because Lewis was at St James's Park. He wants to have his say on the final word. Good evening, Lewis.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, very well indeed. What was your highlight of today's game, mate?
Honestly, probably the reception that Isaac got.
I heard the boos even when he was warming up. How loud was it?
It was very loud. No, honestly, we've travelled 6 hours to watch the game. We're part of the Welsh supporters group, But we go up when we can.
Wow.
And to be there today for the Kevin Keegan tribute was amazing. And then just to see the reception of Isaac after the way he left the club, which you just touched on with Ollie Watkins and the contract.
Yeah.
It was something, you know. If you're in the contract, then you should play for your club. Shouldn't refuse. So the reception he had today from the fans was absolutely electric. In obviously the negative way, and it's fully deserved. But the game itself, yeah, it was an amazing game to watch. Well worth the 6-hour drive, and now the 6-hour drive home.
Well, that is dedication.
Hours, wow. And how many games would you go to a season?
So as a Wales supporters group, the club give us 2 games a season, and then we get to enter the ballot like many clubs do if you're a member. So if you win the ballot, then you get a ticket. So we're lucky enough to get 2 games a season, and then we've just won the ballot now for the Bournemouth game. So we've got in 2 weeks' time again for the Bournemouth game. Yeah, it's half us drive up, and then the other half to fly up. So yeah.
Lewis, how long you got left on the journey?
He's broke up on us.
Oh, so that's like a clip.
He's just gone across the border.
This is what we say about this sport, and then what
Is there a border? There isn't really a border, is there?
It is. You know, we love it that much. You know that we're all arguing with each other on text. We're driving 6 hours to go and watch the game. You know,
and get home. You work tomorrow.
I know, and do it all.
Yeah,
it's just
well,
great.
Now it's like 10:08. We're going to get home around 10 o'clock.
And honestly, those that are listening to the show right now who are driving home, we salute you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we love the fact that you guys get involved with us on a Sunday here on the Final Word with Imagine Pod. So thank you so much.
It's astonishing when you become a manager of a football club and you realise how many supporters clubs there are around the world. It's just astonishing.
So, you know, this is a good question for you, Parks, because when you're in it, it's life, it's job, it's work, it's you know, it's reality. You know, does it ever dawn on you like how big of a role you're taking, like in terms of, like you said, all these supporters clubs around the world, like Newcastle, the fan base that they've got, you know, the hundreds of thousands of people that know who you are. You know,
well, the problem is if you did take all on board, you wouldn't be able to do your job. Do you know what I mean? You just, you know, you'd be suppressed by it. So you have to kind of, you know, it's all going on, but you kind of have to park it somewhere in the back of your head and go, okay, well, that is a responsibility, but I don't want to think about it too much because that's going to consume me, going to consume my energy. So no, you don't. That's the truth of it. But I remember when I left Newcastle, I was imminently, you know, I knew the deal with Crystal Palace was going to happen. And I went, I think I've told this story before, and I went and just stood outside the stadium on top of the hill there in the city and just looked at the stadium and thought, wow, I managed this football club for 4 years. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, and then you kind of get the enormity of it all. You like just now and again, little moments.
Absolutely. Even with this, with talkSPORT, sometimes you forget how many people are listening to the show right now. And then when you go around and I'm in New York and people go, where's Pards?
Yeah.
You know, it's very funny. Like even now, like the hundreds of thousands of people listen to us right now.
Like Arsenal, like, you know, obviously they won the league, you know, and they had the parade, right? I bet if you sat down any of those Arsenal players and said, did you actually think it was going to be like that? You know, that parade with the intensity, and obviously they just lost the Champions League. So to have the parade the next day or whatever it was incredible. And that's the power of the fan base. Brilliant there Friday night, by the way. I did the commentary Friday night, or co-coms, whatever it's called. They were brilliant, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, let's talk about Manchester City because we're going to talk Arsenal, Spurs and United a bit.
Contenders.
Well, Man City leave it late to come from 1-0 down to win 2-1. Late winners after VAR overturned the on-field offside decision. Former England international Mickey Gray, I was listening to him actually, he said on talkSPORT City.
Oh, he's good, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, City's performance looked disjointed and the players were round pegs and square holes. And pre-match, it was revealed that Morocco World Cup star Ayoub Bouadi is set to join for £86 million. £86 million. Now, he had a phenomenal game against Brazil, if you remember, in the World Cup. He absolutely won that midfield.
Was raving about him.
People were raving about him. Arsenal were looking at him.
Yeah.
Manchester City have signed him, of course. Looks like a Rodri replacement, realistically.
Who?
Boadi.
No, he's not a Rodri replacement.
Okay.
Anderson's the Rodri replacement.
Yeah. Okay, but
Boadi is a number 10, really, number 8 stroke number 10. So he will be the creative force.
You really think he's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A bit like Gamera is, right, at Newcastle. That's what he'll. That's.
You think he's an 8-10? I thought he was more of a 6-8.
No, I don't think he'll play there. I think Anderson will have that role.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so he'll play that 1 on, or maybe even the 2 on. He's got tremendous
signing,
talent. Tremendous talent. And I got this list in front of me because I wanted our man Ted to pull it for me, Lille. So Lille, which is the first stop on the Eurostar. So a lot of scouts go to Lille. Lille have got a tremendous academy. Do you want to can I just give you 10 players that they've sold, right, out of Lille? You ready?
Yeah.
So Boadi today, 100 million. Pepe, who went to Arsenal, the winger who wouldn't track back, wouldn't defend. If you're an Arsenal fan, you'll know that. 80 million. Osmian, the Napoli striker, 78 million. Euro, who went to Man United, 62 million. Leao, who went to AC Milan, 49 million. Chevrolet went to Paris Saint-Germain, 40 million. Onana went to Everton, 39.9 million. Botman went to Newcastle, 37 million. Daikati, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, 35 million. And all the way back to Eden Hazard, and I took Kabay out of Lille. Their total income, right, in the last 10 years is £1 billion from player sales. And their expenditure is 510 million on everything, right? So that's a 540 million net profit balance for a little French club that happens to be the first stop on the Eurostar. Not bad business, is it?
But again, this back to what we just said about Brighton, etc., and recruitment.
I think a lot of people looked at Lille actually as a model to take their club forward. Outstanding.
Do you know what? I might do a little victory dance because Chris
Spurs bought none of it.
No, Chris has got involved. Boadi is a 6, not a 10.
Well,
100%.
Look, you could say he's a 6, right? And this fella can agree with you. You think he's going to play number 6 in front of Anderson?
Chris said, "Madge, hold your line. You're right, Boadi. He is a 6."
Okay, well, we'll see.
I've asked Google as well.
I can't see Anderson playing.
He's a hybrid, 6/8.
He's an 8. Trust me, at Manchester City, right? Unless Anderson's injured, he will be playing number 8. Anderson will be number 6.
They'll be playing together.
Yeah, well, let's not get into an argument about it, right? I'm the football manager.
Yeah, I love the camera.
You're the DJ. Right? So let's just leave it at that.
Oh, I love that from Pards. 037.
I'm the Wally with the brolly.
The Wally with the brolly.
Yeah.
03717 22 33 4 is the number to call you. It's finally time to talk about Spurs and Man United.
Yes.
Jill's ready. You're listening to the final word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. All your favourite games, all in one place. 18 plus, gamblingaware.org.
We're due to talk about Spurs now. O'Hara was meant to be here, Jason Cundy, but apparently he's bottled his chance to plug your show. What? If you're not watching but listening, you've put on a Jamie O'Hara mask. Is that a new thing? I mean, that's quite horrific.
I don't know what it looks like. How does it look?
What do you think it looks like?
No, I can't see myself. Does it look like O'Hara?
Have a look at the monitor.
Every time I do that, I turn away.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it looks ghastly, and I never
terrible,
use that word. Yeah. Have you put it on before?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I've worn it before.
It's
so
vile.
Weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. So do you want to pretend he's here?
I can pretend he's here.
Okay,
yeah.
let's
Shambles! Shambles!
Good team. Why is he not here? I heard he stormed out the studio again yesterday.
Last night, honestly.
Soon it's going to be more of a shock if he's
I talk about Spurs.
Take the mask off, for God's sake. Yeah.
Honestly, when we talk...
Oh, put it back, put it back.
Put it on. I love getting into him about Spurs. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. and he was saying if they buy Savinho and Mamouche, they're guaranteed top 4, top 2. And I'm like, come on, mate, come on. The Ange mask will come out, and it just grew legs and arms. The thing, and it just
Well, it's what you do.
exploded.
You got many more masks?
No, yeah, we've got Benty mask.
Have you?
No, we don't. No.
Don't wear them in a bank.
Do you know what happened though? Here's what happened with the Ange mask. We bought it last season when he took over at Forest, and we ordered it from I think South America. By the time the mask turned up, he'd been sacked.
Sam Fender, 17 going under. Great record, this one.
Yeah, and it's significant, isn't it?
Why?
Oh, you're not aware? I requested this song. 17 going under. A brilliant song from Sam Fender, but really, it's related to Spurs.
Yeah,
so you come for me.
You pulled rag.
You tried to come for me. Well, I was always armed with this. So here we go. 17 going again. Here we go again. 17 going under. Let's talk about Spurs.
It's like that first season of Line of Duty when Tony Gates goes, "If you come for the king's son, make sure you kill him."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Good stuff indeed. It is the Final Word Photo here at talkSPORT. It's time to get deja vu on a Sunday, talking about bad defeats for both Spurs and Manchester United.
Which used to be our show.
Used to be our show.
I mean, that was where we made our name.
It's where we got trauma coping mechanisms with me and Jill. We used to just share our trauma together on a Sunday. But yeah, it was a bad weekend for both of those. I think for me, watching both of those games in their entirety, and I sat there, one thing about being in America is really good parts, yeah?
Go on.
Is you get in your hotel room, you've got the Premier League.
Yeah, I know.
On the TV. Just like Premier League mornings on CBS or whatever it is. Great. So I was watching the whole game.
Did Robbie Earl present that?
Robbie Earl's on there.
Still on there, yeah. I thought
Graham Lassau's on there.
Night.
Lee Dixon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I was watching Man United game. The thing I saw with Hull and Brentford, the attitude from both those teams, the want, the will, and the speed in which they reacted to things. Spurs and United, they both just looked like they were zombies. Like they just couldn't. They just wasn't at the same pace as both Hull and Brentford. Hull were brilliant. You know, no one saw that result coming.
No one wants that. I said it earlier. No one wants to have the newly promoted team first game of the season when they're at home, right? You don't want it. I mean, obviously Spurs didn't have that. They had Brentford, who we know are in a real great position. But Ipswich and Hull didn't surprise me, those results. The place is buzzing. There's positivity everywhere. The players are doing a jump up. They want to prove themselves. They haven't had any kind of slap round the face yet. They haven't been, done 4-0 at Liverpool away or something like that.
Yeah.
So the positivity around it all is really difficult, and they both got great wins. The Brentford Spurs game did surprise me. I was watching. I actually think Spurs are going to have a good season, right? And until I saw that game, and one of the big decisions he made was to make the captain
Archie Gray,
which I was astonished by that. Didn't quite work that out. Then you got two centre backs who have never played together, right? At centre backs, you got a very experienced left back. Then you had Tell, Bergvall, Moore, and Gallagher as a midfield, and you have a new boy, Tonali, in there. We know he's the finished product, right? He is the finished product. And then the Richarlison enigma at the top of the pitch. It didn't bode well, the selection for me.
Oh, really bad.
I thought to myself, Fernandes on the bench, Maddison on the bench, Solanke on the bench. I mean, obviously, Maddison's coming back from an injury, but Fernandes, surely he plays.
Yeah, it was a shame.
I mean, as a man who was absolutely brilliant for West Ham last year in a real fight to get out of the division, and he showed fight. So anyway, I didn't really understand.
I was going to ask you: is there any sort of method in the madness? Was he trying to, give Archie Gray a big pump and go, you're in my plans, because maybe he's not going to feature too much during the season when everyone's back? What is that? What is the behind it? Because Lucas Burwell,
didn't he name 5 captains?
Yeah.
Right. And Archie was one of them, wasn't he? Right. So
Mickey van der Ven, Ben Davies, James Maddison, Archie Gray.
Yeah. And of course,
Pedro Porro is number 2.
Yeah. So the only one who played yesterday was him. So maybe that was the decision-making process. But, when you got Tonali and Robertson and you give it to Archie Moore, Archie Gray, sorry. I didn't quite understand that. But anyway.
I was going to ask you, do you think was there any kind of gamesmanship from him maybe going to the board? Our business ain't done yet. This is what we've got left.
No, I don't think. No, I don't think I would have ever done that. You just want to win. Yeah. You know what I mean? He honestly put that team out to win the game. He thought that was his best team for that day, because obviously, he's party to situations that we are not party to. How they've been performing in training, how sharp they look, how maybe lackluster they look. For example, Fernandes, who I was talking about, who I thought would definitely play, might have had a knock. You just don't know. So the team he put out, he obviously thought was his strongest team, but it just didn't work out. And Brentford, wow.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, forget how poor Spurs were. How good were Brentford? Because, even like with Thiago, the running he was doing off the ball, helping his defenders, they were at every ball. They were at it from the off. Clear, deserved winners. And I think that they've got something very special over there. And there's a team. And, Justin Cochran, of course, who works with Thomas Tuchel for England, was with Thomas Frank. I've spoke to him about those players at Brentford, and he says about the team spirit there and the kind of lads that they have over there. We're seeing that. The teams that are gelled together and are playing as a team, they're the ones that are going to
the manager's done a, real unbelievable job. So let's put that in perspective. He stepped up from that set play coach 1 to the full team done, and he's just like a duck to water. He's just like been brilliant. But the boy from Mali, Sangar, who was in midfield, who's on the list of players who kind of, you can't call it a breakthrough, a great breakthrough kind of moment, but certainly a real impact in their first game. Yeah. They haven't cracked it yet, some of these players I'm going to mention later, but certainly he showed signs of being, wow, where another one they've dug up from. Like,
well, I'll tell you another thing.
How many clubs were in for him?
I'll tell you another thing, and a lot of fans were hailing it as well, with obviously Keith Andrews' great job, but who became assistant to Keith Andrews back in June? Damien Duff. And people have been waxing lyrical about how well they played yesterday, and, even Kelleher was giving a glowing verdict of Damien Duff's impact on Brentford.
Yeah. Well, when you've got things going well, then it impacts on everybody. Yeah. And, you look at Maresca, who is now the manager of Manchester City. If Pep Guardiola hadn't won cups, European cups, would he be manager of Man City? No. So, it does feed on, the feed chain does go on to the staff. So that's understandable. But what a brilliant job. Brentford, park that, brilliant. Great start to the season. And they're still at the top of the pitch. For me, Thiago, I'm not sure there's many strikers I would pick above him. No. He really is a handful, isn't he?
Oh, he's strong, he's physical, he's fast.
And his personality, I've seen a couple of interviews with him. He seems what a terrific person in the dressing room.
And the thing is as well, what I loved about him, I was watching him, was like, he was getting back for Brentford and getting involved in winning possession back with more intent than the likes of Tonali for Spurs. And I was like, that's why we've lost. They just went out. And then after the game, the gaffers talked about it. He goes, well, we can't improve anything until we become a team. And he goes, we're not a team yet. And there's a lot of that. A lot of Spurs fans lost their heads yesterday. And,
what's your next game, by the way?
Newcastle.
At home.
Well, no, we got Charlton in the Cup at home, who beat West Ham at the weekend.
I'm there on Wednesday night.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, nice.
Co-coms.
Very good indeed. And then we got Newcastle at home.
Well,
there's no easy games. But one thing I would say, as we've already mentioned, going to Australia and the tours, and then, like Pedro Porro's only just come back, Mickey van der Ven wasn't there. We're going to see a very different Spurs team. And if we are led to believe what we've been seeing online, it looks like the Savinho and Marmoush thing's done for Spurs.
Yeah,
I think producer Ross will give me the information that, I'm sure. but it feels like those are deals that are going to get done because I tell you what, Mikey Moore, who definitely is a talent and he done brilliant at Rangers last year, I don't think he's ready yet. A lot of Spurs fans, oh God, we want to see Mikey Moore. I think another year out alone, learn his trade somewhere else. Give him the freedom. Don't put the pressure on him, because there was 3 moments yesterday when the ball came to him and he didn't take his chances, unfortunately. And in the Premier League, if you don't take your chances, you end up 17th.
Well, the problem you have is when a player's been out on loan and he's done well and he comes back and it still doesn't work and you send him out on loan again, that means it's the end. You only got to look at Harry Kane example, where he had a loan spell, no good. Come back, still no good. Went out on another loan, no good. Then it all dropped. So yeah, Mikey Moore might be in that category. I just want to talk about the burden of like them travels. Something I didn't mention, which one of the real pains of, and it's difficult to say that when you talk about the salaries that professional footballers get, but the amount of time you spend in a hotel room on your own is just incredible. Like say you got a Tuesday game, a Wednesday night game, and then you travel Tuesday, and you're in the hotel bed. You get up, you have a massage or whatever, but you got like 10 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours,
and as you say,
and then another 24 hours.
And as you say, it's not even a complaining thing, right? It's just a logistical thing.
Yeah, it's just
to give my perspective. Thursday night, I was on the runway for 2 hours, delayed coming back from Ibiza.
Yeah.
Knowing I'm flying to New York the next morning, fly to New York, do the show. Like I'm now here on Sunday evening. It's 8:30 at night. I'm running on fumes, and I have to perform.
And you're up against Football Manager that will chastise you, and you're not at the top of your game. So you might have been out and now me, but you couldn't. You just didn't have the energy.
But yeah, it is a thing.
The reason I want to say that because when you go to the World Cup or you go to European Championship, you've gone for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. The wife ain't seen you, the kids ain't seen you. Oh, hi kids, off they go again. You've seen them for a day, and then when you come back, you got a tour to Australia. Oh, do I have to go? Well, no, don't come at the end. Do you know what I mean? We got a big game at the end. Just turn up at the end, away you go again, hotel room. So there's a lot of that going on, and I just wanted to surface that as one of these things that me and you have got a bit of an issue about, these long journeys for pre-season.
I think as we see the season unfold, we'll see the clubs and the teams settle.
Yeah, of course.
I think what we saw this weekend was a lot of just...
Yeah, and like as a football manager as well, when you got new signings come in, I remember at West Ham when I got promoted, I brought a load of new players in. You don't know whether to start them or put them on the bench because you don't want to lose the spirit of what that team had going in. Do you know what I mean? Well, and that's where Ipswich got it right and Hull got it right. They put the new ones in just enough to give them a boost, but not enough to upset the spirit that they'd created. So that was very good.
Absolutely. Right, you listen to the final word on talkSPORT with Sky Vegas. All your favourite games, all in one place. 18 plus, gamblerware.org.
You finished 9th. Yep. You come on talkSPORT and said that Chelsea are going to win the league. Yep. Who's the idiot?
We've got a manager that knows how to win a league.
No. Who's the idiot?
Won the Bundesliga.
I don't care. Who's the idiot?
What's the Spursy one? What's the Spursy ever won?
They finished 10th. Sorry. 10th. Correction.
I know.
You finished 10th.
You'll take her place.
No, you finished 10th.
You'll take her place.
All right? And you come on talkSPORT and said that you're going to win the league.
You'll take her.
I don't think I'm an idiot in saying that Spurs can finish in the top 4 if we sign for Savinho and Mamush.
You'll take our place.
So,
Roberto De Sperzi.
There's only one mug here, and it's you.
Roberto De Sperzi, he'll take 10th, mate. That's a good season for you lot. Mate, you'll take that. Jay.
Don't
100%.
Don't Jay me. Don't Jay me. Don't Jay me.
Jay, 100% you take 10th. I'll give you 10th now. With 10 games to go 10th. So you've not got to sweat like you did last season. Sweating over the last couple of games. Are we going to go down? Oh, no. We go, oh, no, I'll go down.
Mate, you finished 10th.
Yeah, I know we
You
did.
literally finished 10th.
But we've got a manager that knows how
That is,
to win the league.
that's almost like you spent £1 billion on a football team and finished 10th.
Another billion.
Right, who's more embarrassing?
We're going to win it.
Who's more embarrassing?
Do you know what we should do? We should go for Savinho and Mamouche. Then we'll definitely win it. Could put that in the Todd.
keep.
Would you make, don't start getting.
No.
Don't.
I really want to swear at you, but I'm not going to. Right?
Don't, Jay. Take. I'll give you. Okay, here we go. 10th. Yes or no? Yes or no? Jay. Yes or no? Take 10th. He's going to take 10th. He's wrong there. You got to take 10th.
And we're just about to embark on the first game of the season at St James's Park. The atmosphere is spine-tingling. There is a huge tifo opposite me with pictures of Kevin Keegan dressed in Newcastle colours. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0. It's their number 19, Anthony Elanga. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 1. Cody Gakpo with the equaliser 10 minutes into the second half. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. It is another rapid counter-attack. Joe Willock, who's only been on the pitch a matter of minutes, well, he is celebrating. Maybe one last chance and Liverpool. Munoz goes down inside the area. The challenge was Lewis Hall. Oh, the referee says penalty. It's not a pen, is it? It's very soft. The Bosniak's had a lot of time to work out what he wants to do with his spot kick, and he fires it high into the top corner. And Donai Iriola escapes with a point in his first game as Liverpool manager. It finishes Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2.
And that's how it sounded on talkSPORT earlier on as Newcastle and Liverpool played out a 2-2 draw in a day that was emotional at St James's Park as we all, as a footballing community, said farewell to King Kev.
King Kev.
And joining us right now from talkSPORT.com, they've let him out of HMP, which is where we normally see him when he's down the line. He's not actually in jail, it's just his room. It is Jack Cunningham. How are you, Jack?
I'm good, mate. How are you? Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, it's great intro. We've let you out, mate.
Yeah.
Listen, let's start. We've got to start with that.
Yeah.
Wonderful tribute towards Kevin Keegan. I think football fans across the nation joined in and doffed our cap to both great sets of fans in Liverpool and Newcastle, and it was done beautifully.
It was outstanding, wasn't it? War Flags, the Newcastle fan group who organised this. I just want to give them a massive shout out because they always deliver. They always deliver for whatever match it is. It's always great. But that was a true iconic tribute to a Newcastle legend, probably one of the biggest names in the football club.
Yeah. And, Geordies really good at that sort of thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very emotional. I always found them very emotional, particularly about their football club. And obviously, King Kev, you can't say no more than that.
Absolutely.
He was the main man.
What's the reaction been on social media about the game, especially the penalty, Jack?
Yeah, the penalty. No, I mean, in my opinion, it's soft. Yeah, I think it's soft. I think that I'm not really sure what Hall can do about it. Feels like Munoz runs into him more so than Hall sticking a leg out. Once the referee gives it, you're unlikely to get it overturned on VAR, which is a shame. But I do feel as if realistically that shouldn't have been given as a penalty. I don't think it was, and I don't think Liverpool deserved anything from the game. To be honest, I think Newcastle were absolutely outstanding. I thought, given going into the match, there was a lot of talk about the negativity around Newcastle, the fact there's a lot of players have gone, a lot of people predicting us to struggle. I don't think anyone had us getting anything from this match. I think most people thought it was a comfortable Liverpool win, and we turned up and it was a proper rock and roll performance as Newcastle.
Yeah,
2.0
typical. And my first game was Liverpool.
Yes, it was.
Which
I was in the stands for it.
You was in the stands, but even that game was like backwards and forwards. It was always in the balance. You know what I mean? Until Andy Carroll scores right out of the death. Yeah, and today was exactly the same. It's always seemed to be like that. It's amazing that they create that kind of.
But that Liverpool-Newcastle game, as I always said,
ding dong,
as a neutral, it's one I look at, I'll sit down and watch this. I'm expecting something good.
I don't know. The one at St James's Park is always great.
Yeah.
Like, the one at Anfield we usually get bad. to be honest.
Well, listen, we got your former gaffer here, Alan Pardew.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the current gaffer. I really like. There's something about him I like. He's doing things right. He looks the part. You know what I mean on the sideline.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a really big task for him to come in from Eddie Howe and get those fans on side. I feel he's saying the right things. He's making the right decisions. I thought his substitutions were spot on today.
Spot on.
And I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, look, I think I'm really all in on Geisler. Like, ultimately, Howe will get the absolute adulation he deserves, but it was finished. It was done. This is the right decision for him to have gone. This is brand new under Geisler. You got to look at what he's achieved in his career. Yes, it may be lesser leagues, but he's managed totally different teams in Al Ahly, where he's got Mahrez and Kessié and Firmino, all players who've worked under Guardiola and stuff, and Geisler gets them to win back-to-back Asian Champions Leagues. And Salzburg, it's a really young team. This Newcastle side's a pretty young side as well. He walks out today, St James's Park, in his suited and booted. Looked like he owned it there already, like been in the Premier League manager for ages. And as you said, Madge, the subs at 1-1, we were very used to seeing Howe maybe waiting until about the 70th minute usually, no matter what the score was, or if we conceded later on and then he'd throw players on. This was like, right, it's 1-1, 55 minutes, doesn't matter, I'm making the changes.
And he pulled the young lad who was at
Stir.
who was at fault for the goal.
Yeah.
And he got him off. You know, he played well, actually.
Stir played well, by the way. For an 18-year-old, I thought that was a very, very good deal.
But again, I think that was good management part from his game. He's had a little mistake there. Let's not let that ruin the game.
Well, I'm not sure I'd have subbed him at that moment, because obviously the mistake that he made just prior to that.
But maybe he was going to sub him anyway.
Let's not put Eddie Howe down, though. By saying, this new guy is like the be-all and end-all.
No, but I think it's more. It's more about the fact that, how do you replace Eddie Howe? That's going to be a big task, and I just think, big shoes to fill.
Yeah, they are big shoes to fill, and why I think they're big shoes to fill, not so much tactically and the game itself, but Eddie Howe's personality in the dressing room he's a likable, lovable sort of guy. And you imagine a lot of them players were really close. And
Eddie's number 2.
And not so much. But he will be a tough. But he seems to have done a great job. And I'll take your point, which I think is a valid point, is that his last team, he's used to working with young players. This new model looks like a younger mindset from upstairs. Let's sign young players. Let's, get youth and energy in the team. We've got a young manager. Who himself is not. He's not like one of those names you go, wow, we brought in a massive manager. So he's only a young manager, which is great. So that's why I was saying to you that I think the model has changed at Newcastle. Yeah. They realise that they can't play they can't do the Man City. They can't do, they can't buy themselves what they're going to have to manage it really, really carefully. Yeah. And this is the way to do it.
And that's why I was so pleased to see Miley given a new contract and given a clearly prominent role in the team. Geisler's spoke about him numerous times already, that Miley is a player Miley is brilliant, like a lot. And I'm not going to lie, I thought he was brilliant today. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. He ran that midfield because Miley, when he first broke through, young 17-year-old kid, you could tell he had the technique and the passing, but obviously he was a 17-year-old kid. Now he's a man. He's built up and he dominated in the air, he dominated his tackles, but he didn't lose the ball either. He made right decisions every single time. He was going to have a huge season for Newcastle, Miley. And England caps are on the way, 100%.
Oh, okay.
What else is hot on the website then, Jack? Talk us through it.
Yeah, so Crystal Palace. No,
another one of your former clubs?
Not a great start for them, it has to be said, but the main issue they've got is that Mateta is saying that his contract, the remainder of his contract, is not legal, essentially. He's arguing it to FIFA that the rest of his contract shouldn't be fulfilled and he should be allowed to leave.
I've had this as a manager 2 or 3 times where you have a lawyers look at a clause that they don't think is watertight, and hence why it then goes to FIFA where they make a call on it. 9 times out of 10, the club win.
Yeah,
if I'm honest, it's very, very rarely that it goes the other way. So we'll see.
But it's just disrespect, isn't it, from Mateta? To be brutally honest, like if you think about when he came in. He didn't play a lot at all. No. Glasner was like, right, you're going to be my main man. You're going to be my main striker.
I'm not sure he was at that particular time.
But he made him the main man, though. He made Mateta the main man.
Maybe Mateta could argue that he made himself the main man.
Well, yeah, but Glasner put him in. He gave him the opportunity.
I'm just saying, because...
Tell you what, the gaffer's put in rank left, right and centre tonight.
No, but you have to understand the mindset of players. So, if I said to one of my ex-players, I made you, because Stevie Sidwell, for example, I say, I bought you from Chelsea, put you in midfield, give you a role, got you in the box, you score goals. You say, yeah, well, I still had to do it. Still had to get in the box, Gaffer. It's, it's still down.
I should have said it's all down to you.
Yeah, no, but you know my point there.
Yeah.
I think he is one of those players, right? He's a brilliant character. I love him as a character.
He's also he's emotional as well.
Yeah, he's emotional. He's obviously gone, no, I'm not having it. I'm not. Yeah. And maybe the agent didn't disclose that clause to him particularly well.
He still hasn't forgot.
Now he's reread it and gone, hold on a minute, this can't be right.
He hasn't forgot Zaha's comments about him either. He's an emotional dude.
I really like it. I don't think he's a bit hit and miss as a striker. Like yesterday, he had two big chances,
huge chances,
scored. But it's an interesting one to watch. That.
Yeah, and of course they've got the issue with Sarr as well.
There's a lot of clubs who would be very interested in him.
Yeah. He's at peak. He's peak of his powers, isn't he? So,
yeah,
absolutely.
And there's also the issues with Sarr. There's the official line that he's injured, but there's a lot of speculation linking him with Galatasaray.
Yeah, Galatasaray. Yeah, again, this is an interesting one I find with Sarr because he was at Watford initially, then he moves to Marseille. Struggled at Marseille, really. I remember when Palace bought him, not many people even batted an eyelid. Like, Sarr's back in the Premier League, no problem. And then last season he gets 20 goals, and the season before he did really well as well. And now he wants to move to Galatasaray, really? I mean...
Crystal Palace's most important player. Right?
Sarr, he is. Absolutely.
That's coming from me, I'm telling you, right? Yeah. So I'm not managing the team at the moment, but looking from my eyes, he gets crucial goals. He's brilliant work rate, great player. Now, this is a massive problem for the club to sort out because it, as you say, the Turkish clubs seem to be making some big moves in the market, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, Saudi Arabia are obviously making moves. Ollie Watkins might be going out to Saudi. So there's big market, the players in, and we've still got this problem with the window still open. So all these issues will all go away, Madge, if they just close the window.
Just on that, someone did say on the
which is totally right, by the way.
The only thing about closing the window is the European clubs buying our players and not being able to replace them. But anyway, Jack, thank you very much. I'm going to have to put you back in your cupboard.
So I'm in back.
Until next time,
that's a hearty laugh he has.
He does, it's very good.
An infectious laugh.
Go to talksport.com for all the latest news, views and transfer stories. It's competition time, parts. Do you fancy a trip of a lifetime?
Yes.
We could be sending you and a mate down under, mate.
Oh, down under.
Yeah, thanks to Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. You could be at the MCG watching England take on Australia at the 150th anniversary test match.
Wow.
We're talking...
That's a gig.
Yeah, we're talking 5-day match tickets, 7 nights hotel, an exclusive pre-match function with cricket legends, and a day trip to the Great Ocean Road with return flights.
Can I just put a little asterisk on that? You know, I like putting an asterisk on certain things.
Don't.
It might only be 3 days play.
Okay, but you're going to be there for 7.
Yeah.
7 nights hotel, exclusive pre-match function with cricket legends, and a day trip to Great Ocean Road with return flights and spending money included.
Wow.
For your chance to win, text the word win to 83338 by the 6th of September 2026 at 6 p.m. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can send your name and number by post to COMP2, COMP2, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, 18 plus UK residents only. This is a TalkSport promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. Good luck. Coming up next, we'll discuss a great weekend for the new kids on the block, especially Hull. This is the final word on TalkSport.
So this summer has gone from bad to worse for Villa. Unai Emery, Morgan Rogers and Yuri Tielemans already gone, of course. And now it looks like Konza, that's the big one, is on his way to the Arsenal. Let's bring in another Gabby, who must be delighted. Gabby the Gunner, who has called us in 03717 22 3344. Gabby, a very good morning.
Dry your eyes, Gab. I know it's hard to take, but Concer's made his mind up. There's plenty more fish in the sea. Dry your eyes, Gab. I know you want to make Conte see how much his pain hurts, but you've got to walk away now. It's over. Sorry, Gab. And Alan, welcome back, sir.
Thanks,
I'm
mate.
so pleased you've got a fit bill of health.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
No, I'm good, Gabby. Thank you very much, mate. I was missing this, so I'm back.
Missing you.
He's not missed you, mate.
Missing you, Alan.
He ain't missed you, Gabby.
Oh, he always misses me. It's you he doesn't miss, Gab. Come on, bro.
Can I ask you a question, though? You
Go
know,
on, mate.
spending what you spent again this summer, is the minimum Champions League and Premier League for Arsenal?
Oh, Gab, listen, you've got always he'd make a great
asking
politician, wouldn't he, Alan? He really would make
I'm
a
asking
great
you.
politician.
Are you closer to winning the Champions League with these signings?
I still think we're short of one exceptional striker. I think Osimhen, Alvarez, that's kind of the missing link. It could be enough with Solis and with the guys we've got.
Get down. Paid the cost to be the boss.
Paid the cost to be the boss.
You know when you like a great record these days, what's the new word you use, like it's proper, you know, like old chestnut or whatever?
A banger.
Banger, is that what it is?
Banger. Yeah, absolute banger. This is the tune I often play when Frank Warren walks out on press conferences.
Is it?
Yeah.
I bet he enjoys that, doesn't he?
Yeah, it makes me think of Frank, this one does.
I like Frank, good man.
Oh, top man. This is the final word phone-in with Imagine Pards, the final part of tonight's show, where Pards wants to doff his cap to some of the new kids on the block that we saw this weekend. Let's start with Hull, who beat Manchester United 2-0, and Mendy. He was, well, by the way, the Hull City owner joins White and Jordan tomorrow from 10 a.m. That would be great radio, but Mendy, I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, I mean, like Hull, everybody and all the bookies have got them red hot favourites to go down. I mean, certainly they on that showing, cannot see them getting relegated, can you? They look terrific, and he looked a real handful. And it was a great day for new players, new names, and I think that's important for the Premier League this year. You know, there's a lot of talk about all the big hitters are abroad at the moment: Harry Kane, Bellingham, and Mappy, and all the guys at PSG, etc., etc., etc. But you know, we can create our own. They don't, you know, there's no reason that we can't have a few emerging this year that can surpass even those.
Absolutely. Well, someone who's kind of like a new name to the Premier League, but he was there before at Norwich, but he's ended up back.
Oh, hold on a minute. Yeah,
with
Solis
Arsenal.
you're talking about.
Yeah, Christos Solis. Right, you was there on Friday night, mate. I was watching it, and because I forgot they signed him, because it wasn't like one of those name signings that, like, wow, he was brilliant.
Yeah. And you know what, for Arsenal, why he's going to be a massive addition? Because because Saka gets doubled up on sometimes, but they don't mind that. They flood the right-hand side, right? They overload on the right side. Havertz will end up out there. They'll all end up there. Saka, Rice, the fullback, whoever that is. White was on Friday night. They're playing little triangles, little this, that. They're trying to find a way, little runs in behind. They're trying to get down the side. That right side is compact. But of course, when they transfer it to the other side, he's one-on-one, right? So now they got a player who's going to take that fullback on. Whereas in the past, when it went out that side, Martinelli might come back inside, or whoever played there. Eze had a couple of times he played there, and it's not a player that can run at a fullback. They kept it tight on that right hand side. Couldn't get through. Switched it to the other side. Boy, did he have some fun.
He really did.
Yeah, and the fans, they really took to him. He's going to be a real threat and a massive addition for Arsenal, because if there's one thing that was a little bit irritating about them at times last year, was when they went down the sides, they just come back and went back into midfield, which is okay, but at some point you need someone to take someone on, and it was usually Saka on his own just doing that, but now they've got the option on the other side too.
Brentford, with their midfielder Mamadou Sangare, he scored.
You was impressed with him, right?
Yeah, he was probably for me. Well, I got one other name that was on the same level, but I was literally like, who the hell is that? I mean, that was a statement performance.
It really was.
Yeah.
And who's the other one that you?
Well, the boy in Ipswich, the number 10.
Julio
Incenso, he was like brilliant. And when you're a club, okay, you're not in the top 6, and you get a player like that, it's like a gift, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I remember at West Ham we had Yossi Benayoun, and it was just another level. It's just like the technical quality, the moment that they can do, and he was on fire. I thought he was terrific, and they must be absolutely, and Gary must be well chuffed with that performance.
It was great.
Yeah.
And definitely the way that they want to start life back in the Premier League. Just quickly on the whole situation, Manchester United, not the kind of start Michael Carrick would have wanted, and I don't think anyone saw that. I've had a few Man United fans message us as well. That defence don't look right, does it?
No. A lot of criticism of Harry, and he gets caught up on one of the goals, and other situations he has. But that's Harry has those moments, he does. But then he'll put like 7 performances in where he's terrific. They just looked a little bit laden. They looked a little bit lead-footed. They didn't
even
look
Bruno. Bruno didn't look very sharp.
He didn't look sharp. They just looked very ordinary. Dorgu on the left-hand side was poor. He got taken off at half-time. So he had a few issues going on, Michael. And they want to put that behind him.
Could be all the travelling that we mentioned already. Pards, you've got some comms going on the Cup, the Carabao Cup. You're going to be at Spurs, aren't you?
I am.
Spurs against Charlton, and of course,
fantastic win.
Well, against the Pards derby, Championship side West Ham lost at home to Charlton in the Pards derby, which was on talkSPORT 2. They missed the penalty in the dying moments as well. Not a great start for Nuno and West Ham the last 2 games.
No, and I did predict that West Ham, because they're carrying so many Premier League players who are genuine Premier League players who might have an issue with that division and are not quite got to grips with it. But I thought it would come later. I thought they're going to be like the first 3 or 4 games, they'd just roll over, and then it might come a little bit later. But it looks like it's coming earlier. So he's got a few things to address there and some hard thinking, because if they're not with you, you've got to move them on.
Yeah.
And obviously with a window open, that does help you.
10 days for them to have a real look at that and have a decide.
Absolutely.
Pards, thanks for joining us as always, mate, and thank you to those out there for their calls.
Absolutely.
The Sports Breakfast Show returns tomorrow from 6 a.m. with Jeff Stelling alongside Super Ali McCoist, and they'll be joined by the former Liverpool goal machine, Michael Owen.
What a forward line them two would have been.
Oh. But if you need some music in your life, swipe across the Virgin Radio to listen to our good friend Chris Evans.
We love Chris.
On the talkSPORT app, and on talkSPORT tomorrow evening, there's live Premier League football as Pards' Fulham take on Chelsea in the West London derby. Be interested in that one. And we'll be back next weekend from 6:30, taking your calls off of back of a huge Premier League and EFL weekend. But coming up next, it's one of the best shows on the network, the Trans Europe Express. So from me, Imagining Pards,
it's a very good evening.
Good night.
And 2 weeks today, the transfer window closes. Would you anticipate much more business in terms of incomings between now and then?
Well, you can see the league, how unpredictable the league is, and the amount of things that can happen on a day. So it's better not to talk too much. Be prepared, be open, and hopefully we can wrap up the transfer window in a really positive way.
You were speaking before the Community Shield. You were asked about your long-term future and contract negotiations, and you said there's nothing to worry about, Arsenal fans. Do you see yourself as somebody who can do what the likes of Guardiola and Wenger and Ferguson did and stay at the club for many years and build a dynasty?
I want to do what I'm capable of doing and what is the best for the club, and I feel very, very